What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the official pre-show of the Capcom Pro Tour. Everyone's favorite, the one and only, the special, no neutral, and of course I am joined by my brother, the top influencer in the game today, Brian Neff. Let's go, Brian. What's going on with you, bro?
I'm chilling. I'm doing all right. Just, hanging out with lowly old Rob here. Nothing special about Rob. No TV, no Hollywood, nothing. Just regular Rob today. Thanks for hyping me up, but I can't return the energy today because you know what? I'm feeling a little devious because my guy. Listen, I gotta say, I've been waiting a long time to announce a win for this player because we finally have Dookie in Capcom Cup.
Oh my! Listen, you're moving fast. That sounds nasty. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen, let me just clarify for the people. I'm not talking about you at home because you might be like, hey, my play's pretty Dookie. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Dookie, the Bison player from the South America West region, has officially qualified for Capcom Cup. And you're right. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm a little excited. Before we get down to breaking down exactly how he qualified this past CPT event, we must first, of course, give a big shout out to all our fans and supporters in Japan. Thank you so much for tuning in week after week to No Neutral and enjoying the content. But Rob, yeah, it was a new champion crowned this past CPT event, and done so with a guy we haven't seen win an event in quite a while, actually, with N Bison.
Yeah, that made me really happy. And I'll tell you what, we just did on the last No Neutral, we talked about the fact that there's been such a great character spread as far as characters winning tournaments and even making it into grand finals. Now this time we did have a character make it into grands as far as Bison that already made it, because no problem, he made it in the grand finals against Four Fields, but he came up short there. But right here we have yet again, bruh, we have not had a repeat winner yet, as Bison finally makes his way in the cup by way of this very, very dope player named Dookie, of course representing UB down there in Argentina. Now I want to make sure we bring up that part right there, exactly where he's from, Argentina, that beautiful blue and white flag, because there's someone else from that region, and he's known as Messi. A lot of people would say is the GOAT. Those people are wrong because Ronaldo, CR7, is the GOAT, but Messi is at least top 2 or something like that, you know what I'm saying? So he's such a magician that it's only natural that if you're even within the same country as him, that some of that magic is gonna rub off on you, and that is what Dookie used against his opponents to qualify for Cup. So let's talk a bit about his gameplay, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, Brian. Big Hollywood ain't easily impressed in these streets. When you got newts like me, but it ain't about me. I ain't easily impressed. But my man Dookie did exactly that, plus some, and the way that he went about it was aggressive, tactical gameplay, especially when it came to his corner situations with his Bison. So a lot of times you will notice, actually if we look here when he's playing up against Shaka's Dawson, it made him look like he just didn't even know the matchup or something like that, brother. The stand fierces, the way that he is spacing out those long pokes, it seems like it was just his turn for like 20 seconds in a row. And at some point he goes for the stand heavy punch, and Shaka is looking for him to cancel it into a cycle ball, and so he goes for the CA after he blocks the stand heavy punch. No ball comes out. His isn't making my guy Shaka look kind of, you know what I'm saying, maybe look kind of foolish, I ain't gonna lie, but I understood what you was doing right there, but to the untrained eye, it looked kind of nasty. And if I remember correctly, he actually punished him with EX Stomp. He didn't even go for the regular punish, just so he could style on him even extra. And so of course his corner pressure was great. It was so hard to get out of there. He read his opponent's timing so well. I will also say, as far as his actual setups, we gotta look at this clip here. So in this spot, he goes for the V-Trigger 2 command grab, throws out the EX ball, and then Shaka goes for the teleport to the other side. So the ball's coming out and teleport to the other side, boom, he manually explodes the mine and makes him blow up to punish the teleport. I never seen nothing like that, and that's how he ended the set. Like, bro, why? And the last thing I gotta bring up as far as like setup wise, he goes for another sick V-Trigger 2 setup and conversion. The command grab that made Nash fall right onto the ball in that left corner, and then finishes the conversion for the KO. When it came to that tech that he had, the corner pressure, this guy had everything locked down. And I mean, clearly he was ready to qualify for Cup, man. Big Dookie, the one and only, making his opponents look bad.
Of course, you'd expect the dirty play from Dookie rocking the N Bison, knowing all the fundamentals and the dirty setups. But I'm glad you brought up that he's representing Argentina, because the land of Messi, because he might have pulled off the hat trick. His top 3 was all Argentina if you look at it, and I want to give a big shout out to the second and third place. Third place, Shaka, coming in with the Dawson play, looking extremely solid all throughout top 8. And actually, this guy to me was the wrench in the bracket, because the storyline going into South America West was, of course, the fact that Nero the Boxer, the former champ, was not going to be able to be in attendance for this region, leaving the opportunity for someone brand new to qualify for the Cup, a first-time qualifier guaranteed out of this event. And of course, the guy eyeing that position the most was the second place finisher from the last season. Frozen, unfortunately, once again, found himself, before he even got to the grand finals position, in losers early because Shaka put him there, his fellow Argentinian countryman. Frozen had to do the long marathon through loser side of top 8. Guys, if you go to losers before top 8, it is a long,
that top 8, getting to top 8
marathon.
winners feels like you kind of have a weight off your shoulders.
It feels like you're halfway there. Like you can see the finish line. It's just a couple of steps away. You know, if you hope we can easily stroll through, breeze through to winners finals, grand finals, and you're done. Like you can see the finish line. If you're a loser side of top 8, it's over the hill and over the horizon. Like it's not even in sight yet.
Over the horizon.
It's not in sight yet. So Frozen found himself in that position, and man, he did some work. I'm looking at the bracket here: 3-0 over Rodrigo, and then 3-0 over Chaos, 3-0 over Youngho, and then finally in losers finals, he got the run back against Shaka, who put him in losers with his disgusting Dawson play. But, you know, it wasn't easy. He was actually down 0-2 in that set before he had to dig deep and get the 3-0 comeback to secure his spot in the grand finals going up against Dookie. He even managed to get the reset this time, and then it went all the way down to the final game. 2-2 was the score before, Dookie crushed Frozen's dreams once again.
God.
I just got to give a big shout out to Frozen. He's obviously one of the strongest players, most consistent players out of this region. Rocking mostly, I believe, Nash this event, showing how strong his Nash is. I know he used a little bit of Kage here and there, and especially last season as well, he represented Kage. But man, his Nash play is super strong. He always surprises me with the usage of the V-Trigger 2, one of the original V-Trigger 2 Nashes on the scene when that was still kind of new because it was recently buffed in the 2021 season. So we hadn't really seen too much, especially on the state side. Everyone was still caught up in the old way of Nash using V-Trigger 1 for the teleport mix-up and escape. But no, it's all about that offensive pressure, taking turns, forcing people to guess on the throw situations. Hold my pressure. You better save that meter for V-Reversal or I'm going to constantly harass you with that. So big shout outs to Frozen getting to grand finals once again, but of course it is Dookie's day. Dookie, we're going to see you at Capcom Cup, and congratulations for qualifying once again.
Amazing performance from him, and of course for the region overall. And last thing, as far as Frozen, man, that guy's only 21 years old, man. He's pretty much, can we call him a kid? Like, are we old enough to say you're a kid at 21, Brian?
Yeah, let's take it.
Yeah,
we earned that right.
I think we're up there enough now. Yeah, he's still a kid out
here. Good job, kid.
And he's playing, he's playing that amazing, so, and very humble guy and all that, like from talking to him even before this CPT event. So his future is looking extremely bright. But before we talk too much about the future, Brian, I want to make sure that we look at, a bit at the recent past, at my God, at one of the GOATs of fighting games, period, and of course, definitely Street Fighter, Japan's very own Momochi. Brian, this right here is Momochi's secret. A lot of people probably see this title and think we're about to just clickbait him. A lot of people probably think that, there's no way Big Hollywood and Brian really about to just lay it all out there for the people. You're wrong. I would never clickbait. That's Brian's job. So Brian, let the people know your take on this. What is Momochi's secret? I want to look at a little breakdown of Momochi versus Pugera back at CPT Japan.
Well, listen, is it clickbait if you deliver? We'll leave that up to the comments to debate, but we'll deliver right now in the secrets here for Momochi. Well, yeah, so we're going to take a look at Momochi versus Pugera, the grand finals of CPT Japan, which was an amazing set. And my biggest takeaway, I feel like the two high-level points to make about Momochi's gameplay during this set is it was simply a masterclass in spacing and risk reward. The way he dissected how Balrog controls the screen was so effective. If you watch the first set, before the bracket was reset, Pugera actually put Momochi in losers initially. So he went up in grand finals on the loser side against Pugera's Balrog. And if you watch that set, you can count, I think, on one hand, the number of dash punches that Pugera does the entire time. And you might be wondering, why would that be the case, Balrog, his main space control tool is often just dash punch, right? The reason that it was not effective in that set is because a couple of things, right? There's a combination of Momochi's usage of the V skill 2. And if you look at it, he actually didn't use it that much. But what V skill 2 for Cody offers him, that sway, gives him an option to just press 2 buttons on a whim's notice, sway, have some invincibility, so in case he calls out a dash punch, he'll actually juke around it, punish it, get the knockdown, get the offensive pressure going, and Balrog's defense is not the best. So knowing that, there's a bit of a risk to actually doing dash punch randomly. If you guess, okay, I'm in the correct space and where dash punch will be safe, what if he just does V skill? If he lands that V skill 2 on me, the pressure and reward he gets from that is greater than me landing this one dash punch here. The risk reward is actually in Cody's favor in that instance, in that spacing. So obviously you can still maybe like have him preemptively guess and whiff punish with dash punch here and there, but just knowing that gets Balrog to slow down. The second half of that is the actual spacing where Momochi is standing at. If you notice, most of the match is Momochi just walking. Balrog covers a couple of zones, right? If you look at how his dash punches work, the light, medium, and heavy, there's a sweet spot on the screen for where each one of those is effective. If you go within the light punch range, it becomes unsafe on block, but if you walk outside of it, it whiffs. Once you walk outside a little bit more, you get into the sweet spot of the medium, and so on and so forth, right? So there's dead zones in between these spacings where Balrog can't really cover with dash punch. And once you get in too close, Momochi's buttons with Cody are much more dangerous than Rog's, right? Rog is not a hit confirmed character. He does have some big crush counter buttons and things he can swing out there to maybe clip you pressing a button, get big damage. But if you're within dash punch range, where dash punch is unsafe on block, and you're playing the footsies game with just like your mediums or whatever, Rog is not going to hit confirm to damage. On the other hand, when Momochi lands a medium punch, standing or crouching, that is a 15 frame confirm, well within the realm of possibility to confirm. He confirms that to either like level 2 zonk without meter for a full combo to knockdown. If he has bar, it's going to be the EX ruffian kick to a full knockdown corner carry, all that damage and pressure. So he manages to nullify Rog's distance game by moving between the dash punch ranges and threatening with V skill 2. And so that whole just movement game, the mind games he's playing at 3/4 screen, half screen, up close, it's what completely nullified both Rog and Poison. He applies a very similar strategy once he gets into the reset with Poison. And so basically just watch the way he moves around the screen. Look at what he's doing and not doing. You'll learn a lot about how the aura, the pressure you exert just by standing in the right spot of the screen, is represented so heavily in this set. What you're doing and what you're not doing is extremely important in Street Fighter.
Amazing breakdown there. And I do have a quick question. Do you have a number that you could put on that matchup? Or
a number? I would say that originally, I think it used to be slightly Rog favor before V skill 2. That was a big change with this meta, with this patch, because they nerfed the ability to use V skill 2 for plus frames. So throwing out dash punch haphazardly is more risky now, and the charge is harder to store. That's why we saw Pugera use V skill 1 in this matchup. I think previously with V skill 2, Rog favor. Now it's 5-5 or maybe Cody favor, because it's slightly Cody favor, because just the damage output Cody gets is so high, and he's able to sit in that range and like do things like EX zonk and keep pressure going, where with V skill 2 you are very scared to throw dash punches out. So if you can't dash punch effectively and your footsies game is not as strong, I'm thinking slight Cody favor now.
All right, so the first thing I like to touch on as far as Momochi's secrets, right? Brian, you already kind of spoke on one of my examples of this, but it is his matchup knowledge. Now, I'm not saying this is paramount or the most important thing, but that's why I want to bring it up as just like a, I don't know, auxiliary type of situation. Of course, if you look at that match against Balrog, sometimes he would just randomly throw out V skill 2 in neutral. And it's not like he necessarily caught the dash punches, but as Brian said, it adds like mental stack and pressure to it, so you can't use that tool as much. Another situation where you can see his matchup knowledge with this Cody is when Pugera actually went and tried to go Poison, and it, of course, we know now, did not go well for him at all. But he goes for the stand heavy punch, and it's like at a range where, you know, of course, that's one of the biggest things playing against Poison. Any tournament player knows you have to be able to whip punish her stand heavy punch, especially when she gets into V trigger, because she gets so much damage off of that. So you have to have some counterplay for it. He goes for EX zonk to whip punish stand heavy punch. So he actually backdashed. He was in the corner, I remember a specific couple spots. He would backdash, and then he see the stand fierce whiff, and then lets his 2 buttons go and whiff punishes with the EX zonk. So that just goes to show his matchup knowledge. You don't just do that, something like that randomly. Right. Now, outside of that, something that's a lot more important I would go to is strategy, right? So one of the main ways that you can see someone's strategy is actually by looking at how they utilize their meter, if they're good enough. If you're a strong enough player, there's no way that your meter usage, that's one of the main things I do when it comes to playing in tournaments or studying someone or coming up with a strategy to beat them or whatever. All right, so one of the main ways that you'll see a tournament player use their meter is they'll save their meter for critical art. That's one strategy. So I want to have my critical art at the end so that I can close rounds out, or if I need to come back or just to close it out or whatever it may be, chip out. It's just a whole lot of reasons that having CA at the end is good. But of course, that's not the only strategy, right? Because the game is a whole lot deeper than that. So Momochi, he didn't always have CA. A lot of times he wouldn't. Why wouldn't he have it? Because he was using his meter on EX Zonk. Right? Now that's layer 1. Now why is he using on EX Zonk? Because it's a great move. Well, that's surface layer. Let's look deeper. It's because his strategy is to push his opponent towards the corner. Right? That is not the strategy for every character matchup. He's doing that specifically because of Cody's strengths. You know, Cody's damage is extremely high. His stun is extremely high. So, and then he has very strong, close to mid-range, confirmable attacks. So he is very conscious of using his EX Zonk to either push his opponent to the corner or to push himself outside of the corner. There are situations where he would land a combo. He could easily not spend meter on the combo, but he will use EX Ruffian Kick. Right. Within his combo to push you that much further into the corner, because after a V-trigger activation, you already have, I want to say 50, isn't it 50% scaling on the combo?
It's an extra 2 hits of scaling, so no matter what, you're hitting like 70% scaling. So when you look at the damage comparable, like it drops off significantly. It could be upwards of like 50% less damage overall for a combo. It drops off fast. So for a lot of characters, you're right. Like you wouldn't actually spend resources because you would get no reward for it. It would be like those little ticks going down. You're spending 2-3 bars and you get no damage. But yeah, you're right. He spends that 1 bar, he pushes him to the corner, and then he might just go and do a block string into EX Zonk again, even on block. Because after the combo and the EX Zonk, he has plus frames and your 3-4 screen all the way to the corner in one sequence.
Yeah, and at that point, he just controls the corner so well.
Forbidden Nooch. The Forbidden Nooch. I think we got to bring that up. The V-Trigger 1 usage. That it freezes the game.
You brought up how strong Cody is as far as like his mid-range, his confirmable pokes in comparison to like Balrog. But he even used this in a tournament in general outside of just the Balrog matchup, but especially there, is the fact that you'll notice Cody also, a lot of Cody players will use his heavy attacks. Right. Momochi didn't really use any of that. It's like he did not want to risk being whiff punished. Right. So instead, he was able to use his neutral to a point where most of the pokes he was going for were hit confirmed. So he would use, like against Bulgaria's Balrog, he's using that V skill to your scared dash punch. Now, as you said, Brian, I'm able to walk at you because of the mental stack I put on you. But now, again, playing risk reward, I'm gonna specifically use these medium pokes that you're not really gonna whiff punish on reaction. And when I do hit, they're hit confirmable into a lot of damage or putting you into the corner, putting you into a winning position. And the last thing I would say, Brian, is just what you brought up right there. The way that he used that V-Trigger 1 with the knife, the crouch light kick V-Trigger activation might be the best V-Trigger activation in the game right now.
We have to talk about that last interaction just as an example. The way he closed out the tournament, it was the crouching light kick activation. If you leave any kind of a gap in your pressure or try to go for a shimmy attempt or something like that, that 4-frame crouching light kick is coming out. It's a low, so it's going to clip you walking back if you're trying to build space. It's going to activate, you get a full combo conversion, convert into EX Ruffian, get the push. Once he lands that next hit, which is what happened in the final round of the tournament, it pushed all the way into the corner, gave him the V-Trigger 1, like the knife special, that's how he starts slicing him up, gave him that extension, and then that juggle actually stunned. It literally stunned Poison in 2 hits. He went from 0 to stun with 2 hits. That's with crazy. A relatively unscaled jump in after to still do chunky damage. Normally, if you get those kind of stuns after a long combo, it's scaled a lot, so that follow-up doesn't do much. Look at that jump in one more time in that last hit. It did there was more damage in the tank that was going to come if Poison didn't die in that first couple of hits of the post-stun combo. So yeah, the risk reward, when he finally does do something risky like wake up with a button, which is, it's not invincible. If Bulgaria just goes up, heavy punch, heavy kick, it might be a crush counter, but he knows that at these spacings you're probably going to try to overextend or do something. But if he does land that hit, the reward is so much reward. through the roof. And one thing I want to touch on, you brought up the meter usage. I feel like this is something where I would question what Pugera was doing with his meter, actually, because Pugera, I noticed with both Balrog and Poison, would often activate to kind of like build a steamroll momentum. But the moment he didn't get that next hit, that next follow-up, suddenly he was out of control, right? He had no more control. Cody's free to apply pressure with EX Zonk, activate his V-Trigger and take control neutral. Same thing with Poison. There was an instance where he activated V-Trigger right before he lost the tournament. He activated V-Trigger early when he had a life lead, when Cody was in the corner. I personally disagree with it. You know, I don't want to. Pugera is an amazing player. I'd love to hear his thoughts on it.
It's your job to analyze.
I feel like that was him trying to ride momentum that he didn't need to, and he could have just kept control and used the V meter to push back. That's what I would have done personally. He popped that V trigger, and then Momochi said, "Oh, well, if I touch you, if you block anything, suddenly it's my turn." So that's when Momochi responded with the crouching light kick V trigger activation, and it was GG's in 2 touches from there. So the meter management was huge. I feel like Momochi managed his meter very well, and Pugera, I would say, kind of made some mistakes with the V meter usage. It's not always good to go for V trigger. The offense is not always important. Oftentimes, I think V reversals, especially if it's a V reversal that knocks down, is huge and key in a lot of matchups. Like both Cody and Poison, I would say those are 2 matchups you do not want to activate V trigger unless you know it's going to kill, because you need that to establish control.
So the last small point I want to bring up, just because it is very important as far as his strategy, is, you know, it goes to the risk reward concept. The way that he would close out rounds is with stand medium kick from Cody. You weren't really going to see him pressing a lot of stand medium kicks throughout the matchup. The button is phenomenal as far as the hitbox is great and the hurt box is almost non-existent, it seems like, right? So it's a phenomenal button. What makes it good is the fact that it's hard to have counterplay against it. But in the end of the day, the risk reward isn't the greatest, because if you land it, you don't get anything unless you're confirming into like a critical art, which Momochi never had, because again, he was spending his meter on other things. But in the end game, all of a sudden the risk reward is good because that 1 or 2 stand medium kicks can kill his opponent. So notice how his button choices even switch from the beginning of the game towards closing out a game. And notice how even when it comes to neutral, notice not just the buttons that he is using, but the ones that he's not using. The fact that he's not using those heavy attacks and he's specifically going for those mediums. It doesn't mean you shouldn't use heavies, even if you play Cody, even in the same matchup, but just know why he's doing that. And if you are gonna use them, know why you're doing it. Everything is right there in the open. If you really want to break down these matchups and see why your favorite players are so strong, they can't hide it whatsoever. It's right there on the screen. It's just for you to interpret. Or if you don't feel like it, then me and Brian are always going to have you covered right here on No Neutral.
And some players we know for a fact that are perfecting their strategies as we speak, because we have the top 16 coming up next. We have the CPT Asia Southeast. And you know there's a lot of players here that are going to have to be looking back at those VODs, looking back at those other locals and previous sets from over the years, because this region was one of the many that we saw in the 2021 season to feature some pretty big upsets. Because of course we have fan favorite, one of the GOATs of Street Fighter since the Street Fighter 4 era, Evo champion, consistent, one of the most consistent Capcom Cup qualifiers. Xian is hailing from this region, and I believe 2021 was the first time we actually didn't see him qualify for a Capcom Cup or season finals since the inception of Capcom Cup. So I know for a fact that he's been reviewing those tapes and reviewing the strategies, because last year he actually went to losers in the first round of top 8 winners to I Am Chuan and was eventually eliminated by Bravery. But neither of them were this region's qualifier, because it was Oswald was able to qualify over I Am Chuan last season. Chuan, one of the most I would say prolific Guiles actually for a long time, because this character Guile, I feel like we don't see as many, especially in later seasons, dedicated mains. Chuan has been rocking Guile for a long time. I remember him doing work many years in past Evos as well. And he's always been very strong with the character, but it's not a character you see too often besides like Daigo and Kaba and a few others here and there, but it's definitely kind of not as common in the meta these days. He was in grand finals against Oswald, who was rocking Balrog, which is definitely a counter pick, I would say. Balrog handles Guile pretty well. So Oswald, for his region, I feel like he has such a good character roster. Balrog beats a lot of the matchups, I think, that is represented, and Poison's just such a strong character for almost any character you throw at her.
Oh yeah.
Maybe Oswald would do the Balrog mirror. I don't know what he would do if he had to fight another Rog. But I'm very curious to see what characters we're going to see from a lot of these players, because someone like Xian, Who is he going to be rocking this season? I know he's been playing a lot of Seth and Ibuki still. I wonder what he's going to go with this bracket.
But as far as this region overall, we talked about how like Japan is so hard to call. I don't think that people would naturally your natural instinct isn't to think of this region as that hard to call because of how famous like a Xian is and how amazing he is as a legend. But man, this region is very tough to call a winner for, especially when you look at it like this. SKZ, the Bobby Fischer of Street Fighter, right? Remember him qualifying for Cup from here.
Explosive.
Very explosive with his Seth, and of course he has Cami as well. But SKZ, amazing explosive player, qualified for Cup. We had Oswald qualify, and of course, again, we brought up how amazing Xian is. Brandon, the dope Akuma player. I remember Intel World Open. I was hosting there and analyzing his matches, and he was absolutely insane. So that just goes to show just how widespread the talent pool is in this region, man. So I definitely want to make sure that I give a big shout out to Xian, because I think a player like Mena RD gets a whole lot of credit, as he deserves to get, for putting on for his region and putting them on a map and giving back to his community. But if you look at like the World Warrior program, Xian is actually not competing in it. Xian is the tournament organizer, and he commentates as well. He actually commentated this their first World Warrior event alongside Z. So that just goes to show the type of role that he's accepted and taking up the mantle and responsibility for putting on for a scene. But of course, sometimes you gotta go ahead and dust off the controller and remind everybody like, yo, I'm still that guy. And I think that's exactly what Xian is about to be trying to do here, man. And
of course,
he has a great chance to win it, and I think he's due. I don't know if Xian has won one of these online ones, at least in the last couple of years. I don't like since 2019.
I think since the online era, Xian has not been as dominant. But I'm glad you brought up kind of the DR comparison. Before you even went to that, that's where my mind was going. Where I feel like in recent years, since Mena won Capcom Cup, of course, he put DR on the map. But even since then, we've been seeing more online events, CPT events, EVO Online, been showcasing these players more. We've had Game Over in Dominican Republic, where I personally got to go visit and see just firsthand how strong even the players you've never seen on a CPT stream are. Like, just the average level of play is ridiculously high there. I feel like Singapore and this whole CPT region for Asia Southeast is very similar to that. Xian won EVO, I believe, in 2013 or 2014 for Street Fighter 4, and he was a very dominant player in Street Fighter 4. And I feel like at that time we didn't have the same infrastructure for him to highlight, hey, like, look at all the players in my region, like the weeklies, and like the streaming wasn't quite as prevalent back then. So he was the representative for Singapore, kind of putting them on the map, but we didn't get to see firsthand all these players. Since then, with the online CPT events, we get to put a microscope on these guys and be like, wow, it's not just Xian. Don't get it twisted. This is not like one guy doing it on his own, so much better than the field of competition. He was a representative for a long time, but these guys are the reason he's this good, because he's being pushed to be at this level. And these players are extremely strong. And it's not free. It hasn't been free. Xian hasn't been able to close out an online CPT win for a couple seasons now, right? So there's no way to be able to tell who's going to win this event.
These players most definitely, Brian, will be pushing themselves to the limit. And for anybody watching right now, if you want to push yourself to the limit, if you want to get a taste of that glory or just put a little bit of extra pressure on your matches, make sure you guys head over to CapcomProTour.com so that you can see all of the upcoming Capcom Pro Tour events and register today.
And don't forget, there's not just the CPT events that you can register for. We also have the World Warrior program, which are monthly events put on by local community organizers. So there's more ways to qualify, more action to sign up for. If you want to check out your monthly event, check out CapcomProTour.com as well and look for the World Warrior information there.
All right, Brian, we've definitely been in these situations before. You in that top 16, especially. I'm keeping my eye keenly focused on that winner side. Right now, it's all first and twos, but if you can get just that one W right now, just one, you qualify for winner side top 8, and you finally get into the promised land of having first to threes, and you're halfway there if you're that nice. Right now, Brian, their heartbeats sound like Sasquatch feet, and I can't wait to see what the outcome is gonna be. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the top 16 for Asia Southeast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Capcom Pro Tour Asia Southeast. We have such a fantastic top 16, but before we get into that, if you haven't heard of us before, I'm Jake Ryan, joined by the wonderful, vicious, the voice of Street Fighter. How are you doing, my friend?
Man, y'all gonna be hitting me with that every single time.
Every
I feel like no
single time.
matter who I end up on the table with, they're gonna be doing that. But it's not about us here at the table.
True.
It's actually about the players going on with Southeast Asia. We had the pre-show done by Brian F. and Rob TV. There's a lot on the line for the Southeast Asia region because this is the final year of Street Fighter V, and what better way than to go out with a bang. And these players are going to do just that, right? We've talked about the top 16 even before we even started.
Yep.
We had that pre-show going. A lot of the players that were highlighted here, I think maybe like 2 out of the 4 had made it into top 16. It was pretty gruesome, actually.
Yeah. It was definitely a bloodbath getting into this point. And, you know, one of the strongest regions in the world, that's going to be expected because, you know, just like Japan, we saw a lot of the known names didn't get to that top 8. That's the same thing that we're going to be. Yeah, it's so sick. It's so sick that that's the level of play that we're at, especially in the last year where it's like, Oswald's not even in the top 16.
Whoa, you get the spoilers already.
I know. A little bit of the spoilers, but you know, the bracket is available for everybody to see, and it's one of those things where we're going to see exactly how it really broke down for some of those players to not be at this point and at this stage.
And one of the things we do like to mention before the bracket even shows up is what is actually on the line for a lot of these players, right? It's that ticket into Capcom Cup, but even so, while they're playing for the top 8 spot or even within top 4, you get to play for that $5,000 cash prize. We talk about that every single event because that is a good amount of cash.
Yeah.
For entering for free.
Yeah, you got to get that lion's share, and yeah, entering for free, a chance at $5,000. That's I think that's a pretty good pot to get your hands onto. So you're going to be fighting for not only that Capcom Pro Tour spot, so you want that #1 position, but top 4 is going to be in the money there, which is, you know, that's always the goal. You want to be able to, you know, get the bankroll funded and also have that pride because
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, if you get to pocket some of that cash, well, guess what? You get to go to offline events, maybe like Evo, perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just a pretty big deal, right? The pricing, again, $5,000 for the top 4. But again, everybody wants that seat into the throne for their region. That is the big dance of Capcom Cup. With that in mind, let's take a look at the bracket if we do have it, please.
Oh, yeah.
Who do we have up on the winner side?
So we have Davloh from Singapore going to be rocking the Guile as long as our information is correct. And then you have Vakarian on the other side, and it's looking like this the Zeku. So it's Singapore versus Singapore. And then on the other side, we have Captain Y rocking the Akira. So we're seeing even more Akira. I love to see Akira. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Akira from the likes of Chris G going to multiple offline tournaments. You know, default.
Even Space Boy,
yeah,
too.
even Space Boy too.
A lot of representation with Akira. Really excited about that. He's going to be going up against Bells with that Laura. It's going to be Singapore versus Thailand. For the other 4, it's going to be Brandon versus Mind RPG for the runback. It's been the runback of runbacks, to be honest with you. But Brandon has actually taken a big step going in with Luke and then Mind RPG with Bison. Down below, it's going to be Roxas versus SKZ. My man Roxas has a ton of characters under his belt. What I do like to see from SKZ is whether or not he's been sticking it out with Seth.
Yeah, you know, Seth is still one of the strongest characters in the scene. You know, Luke definitely is edging out, like, indisputably #1 in the game. But, you know, we see other players like, hey, maybe you need Luke. Like, Chris CCH has been winning most of the tournaments online that he's been playing with the Luke as well. So there's still good reason to have stock in that character. And I want to see SKZ on the Seth as well. But having those pocket characters is some of the strongest tools you can have. You know, having a pocket Luke, a pocket Cami is always great because maybe you feel more comfortable in the matchup and get the read on your opponent.
It makes sense. Yeah, you have a lot of character diversity just off of this roster, but what I do like to see is the representation from Singapore as well as Indonesia and Thailand. Down below, we actually have plenty of other players hailing from other parts of Southeast Asia. Starting off with Bearpop versus Versace. That is going to be Ryu versus Jury. That is the match that is near and dear to my heart. I love both of those characters. One from Jakarta, one from the Philippines. That's what I'm talking about. And then Xian versus Vita. Xian obviously has been working a lot on that set. He's been posting up a lot of these highlight clips on his Twitter, hailing from Singapore versus Vita with that Ibuki, a match that Xian might be more than familiar with, right? Because that is his former main. But we'll see how that plays out. Ibuki getting a ton of buffs this season as well.
Yeah, you know, benefiting from those buffs. And then on the loser side, we're going to see I Am Swan on the Guile as well. That's going to be fighting out. And then against Zangief. So Red Pablo, Zangief versus Guile. Guile. Definitely a historically difficult matchup for Zangief. The will to keep down backing is going to be on I Am Schwann's side, but Red Pablo can still make that happen. One boop into another boop. SPDs may be on the menu.
We'll see. We'll see how that actually plays out, right? And then down below, it's Bravery versus Lacuna C. Lacuna C, we've seen time and time again with that impressive Falke, hailing from Malaysia, but Bravery 123, that actually might be a name that I actually don't recognize. They are the same teammates, though, and part of the same organization, actually. Bravery is going to be rocking that Cami, hailing from Singapore as well. A lot of Singaporean representation, right? But for the most part, the character diversity is pretty interesting, right? Ryu, Jury, Seth, Ibuki, Guile, Zangief, Cami, Falke.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good. It's a very explosive loser side, actually.
Yeah, that character spread is something fantastic. And that's what I love about this stage of Street Fighter V, because it's not only, okay, we're not going to see like 3 characters in your pocket. You can play whoever you want, as long as, you can play in the top half of the roster or the bottom half of the roster, and you can still make it happen with those characters. I wouldn't expect to see a Ryu in this top 16, but we're going to be having that as well. And then we see success across all these characters. So really excited to see how these player matchups go, and maybe we have other pocket characters that are available to get even more character diversity. But I believe that our first match is going to be that Deshaun versus Vakarian, and that is Guile versus Zeku. Zeku, one of the characters I feel like that benefited from the patch very well in this definitive version of Street Fighter V. And as you can see right here, Davloh, I think one of the oldest members, the oldest member in the C region at 43, going to be rocking the Guile right there. It doesn't have a Twitter that you can see.
Seasoned is the word.
Seasoned?
Yes.
Well seasoned.
The most seasoned veteran in his region is the right way to put it, all right? Us old folks can still play and can press buttons. But we were talking about this matchup, right? Guile versus Zeku. We were talking about some of the forms that Zeku can contest Guile at. There was some significant nerfs that Guile had to his main tool in his kit, which is the Sonic Boom, right?
Yep.
There's a lot more recovery. It's easier. Well, I wouldn't say at this point it's easier to react to it, but it's definitely easier to punish.
Yeah, easier to punish. So navigating those punishes is going to be something that Vakarian is going to be utilizing and looking for. Obviously, the old Zeku form is going to have those nice range pokes to get in and punish on the Guile. And then as soon as you switch to young Zeku, it becomes the blender session, La Liquidora. So getting it's you've got to guess into guess into guess, and Davloh still has the opportunity to utilize the flash kicks and bust out, but when are you going to instill your will on Vakarian? That's going to be the question. And the seasoning is going to really play into that, because I've been flash kicking for longer than you've been playing fighting games,
That's
most
true.
likely.
Yeah. Let's see what the newcomer, actually not the newcomer per se, but the youngin at a young age of 28.
Young
it feels
age,
so weird to say that. But
ripe
anyways,
age.
let's see what Vakarian had to say going into his quote. Actually, Dav has been pivotal in growing the scene in Southeast Asia. Very welcoming and willing to guide those in need of it. Overall, swell guy. But he plays Guile. That is the most thoughtful statement you could actually put about a person, and actually the most truthful towards the end.
I absolutely love the cherry on top of that statement, because it shows the care and love
Guile.
for the community. But then it's just like, let's scratch the rest of that. The Guile on the screen, I don't know how I feel about that. Be like, why do you have to play that character against me, man?
That's just going to be like the complaint, I feel like, no matter what, because every character I feel like is in such a good place where they could be killers. That's just my opinion on it. We've seen people get taken down by Jury. We've seen people get taken down by Akira as well, right, from the Midwest and in general, too. So we'll see how this plays out. This is going to be our first match. It's going to be Davloh versus Vakarian. Very excited to see it. Guile versus Zeku, the first 2 Singaporeans to step up to the plate. We're going to see who takes it all the way through. It's going to be 2 out of 3, primarily for all of these matches up until the top 8.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing the top 8 tomorrow. So 2 out of 3 the entire time for today. And on the winner's side, you win 1 here, and then you're done for the day. You can do whatever you want. You can go on Twitter, celebrate your victory, maybe have a little bit of dinner, a celebratory snack. But
I don't even know what time it is over there.
I don't know either.
But it's very late here. I'll tell you that much.
Or very early. It depends on how you look at the 2 sides of the coin. But I definitely think it is very late for both of us. But it's better late than never, because this is going to be a fantastic bracket that we're going to be getting into. And if you had to pick right now out of this player roster, who do you think takes it all the way?
Oh, that's tough. Actually, I want to see how Captain Y performs with that Akira, because I think Akira has been the most outstanding character in majority of the CPTs that I've been a part of, and even watched as well. But I would have to say, given the current positioning, I might like Brandon with Luke or SKZ Seth. So
yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, definitely. And we're seeing how they're playing out right here on the Street Fighter duel stage. So beautiful. Loving the bear in the back as well. Always love the wonderful background. Got the kite too. So
I love it. Yeah, and it plays off so well in the Ring of Destiny. It's actually a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
It could be a boxing ring.
Yeah, true.
You got the four ropes. But anyways, into the matchup, right? We saw that early activation into young Zeku form from Vakarian. So that had to be the biggest signifier. It's like, I want to play up close and personal, right? I want to give you some plus frames into some of my pressure. But Davloh actually immediately has been playing the Sonic Boom game pretty well. Also, he does not need any of his view reversals. He has been calming the storm before him. Like, Vakarian has been very antsy in pressing buttons because of the fact that he's in young Zeku mode. He's like, I have to be here. I have to be within close quarters range. Oh, you're not allowed!
That was so good. The Crown of Lights immediately canceling into the flash kick, just ready and aware of the flip from the side of Vakarian. And like you said, utilizing the V reversals really well. Doesn't care to use the V trigger because as young Zeku continues to apply the pressure, get off me, that was clear.
Oh, he could have got a counter hit conversion off of that.
Yeah, nice. Not able to get across up here into the corner. Screen real estate is so huge, and Vakarian not punishing the jump out. Never mind. It's my turn.
Ooh!
And he has the critical art right here too. Goes
That's
for the quick
so
reset.
Smart. Yeah, I don't think any sort of combo into critical art. Maybe he could have gone to mid screen. You might be dead here. You're dead and dead actually. Had Davloh gone for an actual confirm into critical art mid screen, it wouldn't have killed.
Yeah, it wouldn't have killed.
I think he would have left himself at least one more mixed situation if he got mid-screen. I think the corner position would have been better at a state where he had more life to work with, but not in that certain position. Not in that situation.
Yeah, and still held all the resources because even though Vakarian was able to get that round, not going to have any meter to work with, finally built the 1 bar, and still going to be close to that V-trigger as well because it is a 2-bar V-trigger. So
didn't have enough of a charge, unfortunately.
Yeah,
he is getting some of these openings, but it's just he doesn't have anything to back up some of these hits, right? He's still stuck in a zone where he's trying to maintain charges and pursue maybe a follow-up after a normal. Just like that, right?
Oh my god, yeah.
How many instances has he left damage on the table?
Yeah, it's been multiple instances now, but again, another instance where we get the back throw into the corner, and this pressure is going to be so huge. Big counter hit right there, so obviously trying to challenge against Davloh, but the Sonic Booms comes out at the perfect time, spacing excellently and understanding that Zeku can't really press there after the V-trigger was activated.
What's really interesting about that situation as well is the fact that if Vakarian had gone for any sort of slide canceled into V-trigger, I think he would have been in a dangerous position to get chipped out. Right?
Yeah.
I think there wasn't that much left in the tank for Vakarian. But Davloh cleverly actually masked that option. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna throw this boom right now to stuff your slide.
Yeah, and that kind of checkmate situation is so rough to deal with too because you want to use that V-trigger activation as your comeback mechanic, but then you literally are shooting yourself in the foot if you get stuck in one more block string. So Davloh playing that excellently. You know, the mental stack was so much big punish.
I mean, that's a decent size punish. I think getting the knockdown still mid-screen is just fine. He could have gone for something very hefty, but either way, damage is damage, and we'll take that. Davloh still in a precarious position. The sun is there. He's actually dead.
Yeah, super dead right there. And I love the Davloh's willingness to go for the trade there, understanding that stun is a huge factor. And at that point, I'll take the trade. You die, I take a little bit of damage.
Not bad at all.
Greatest trade deal in history. And right now, history is repeating itself from the first game. Davloh is just finding every single opportunity. That's ridiculous.
Out the slide? What was that?
That was so clean. Upside down kick connects. Finally a knockdown, and this is where the party starts for young Zeku.
Oh my god. Did you see him actually eagle walk forward a little bit? He was trying to reposition as Vakarian was mid-air. No anti-air! He actually tried to do a back fierce?
Yeah, I think it was back fierce. Did not connect right there, and now with the slide, activate any touch into critical art will be the finisher, but now it's party time in the corner. Gonna go for that quick knockdown. Still stuck. Oh, this is so scary.
Smart. He's just winding him down as a battle of attrition, right? That trigger is not going to be spent from Vakarian. Again, the delay on the normal from Davloh to take it down. That is 2 games straight. Cleverly placed low, medium punch to catch the button of Vakarian, taking him out. And Vakarian was right. Overall swell guy, but he plays Guile.
Yeah, definitely the Guile play was huge there. And again, it was that same situation where because of the V-trigger activation on the side of Davloh, Vakarian had to challenge because the extra booms that were going to come out, he had full critical art. You cannot V-reversal at that point, and it was challenge or die because chip was incoming.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was the smartest thing he could have done, to be as risk-averse as possible in that situation, because Zeku did have Trigger on deck. I don't recall how much meter he had exactly outside of this situation. Like that could have, I mean, that situation's come up so many times over where Vakarian could have got to confirm and kill Guile, but Davloh, he's like, all right, I got hit by this once. I'm never getting hit by that again. That was literally like one of the first instances where he's actually been taken down, or at least taking significant damage, right?
Yeah, and you have to be able to capitalize on those final moments, but not able to see it. Yeah, once again, the counter hit because did not want to get locked down, and now going to be locked down to the loser's bracket. We're not going to be seeing Davloh for the rest of the day.
Nice.
Pretty swift victory, though, and, exciting to see. Plays Guile, obviously has some of the most seasoning, actually the most seasoning in the entire Southeast Asia region. So
no Lowry's necessary.
Yeah, no Lowry's necessary.
He's already got it.
No brine, no nothing. Already
Nothing.
ready in season and fantastic. It's going to be delicious no matter how you serve it.
No matter
or
how you
cut
cook it, to be honest, yeah. Davloh's, he's actually been cooking, right? The way that he was playing, he understands not only the player very well, but just the matchup as well. So I think, Davlo's in a very, very secure position, but he's going to have to wait it out against his next two, right? This next two is going to be very interesting to watch as well because it's going to be the Akira versus Laura, Captain Y versus Bells.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen a lot of either player, but Captain Y coming in from Singapore, Bells from Thailand, right? The character selection is what I'm interested in the most, right?
Yeah.
Akira and Laura. When we talk about Laura, we talk about one man primarily.
I think his name is IDOM for
Primarily,
I-Domination.
Right?
I mean,
I think the biggest thing is I want to see how other players pilot this character now in the current state. So that's why I'm extra excited to see it because we've seen the state of Laura for years, right? We've seen how this character has been played for a while, at least in the States. But I want to see how the rest of the world takes Laura because I feel like there's been a lot of the other countries that are just like, Laura's, she's all right.
Yeah.
They kind of downplay her a little bit. On the other hand, Akira has been seeing a huge rise of popularity and usage overall.
Yeah.
I think in the world, actually, because of the fact that she has a very solid V-Trigger with V-Trigger 2.
yes. Yeah, and it's actually going to be exciting to see, and I want to hear what Bells has to say about this match because they obviously have some words for Captain Y and Captain Y, and Captain Y has improved so much recently this season. He won the last C tournament, and he beat my sensei Xian, so to qualify for top 16. So that's who sent Xian.
That's hype.
That's actually super hype. So That's no small feat. That is one of the best players to ever touch the sticks for Street Fighter. So I have to do my best in this matchup. That makes sense because going in and knowing the weight of that victory beforehand, gotta put some pressure on the plate.
Man, I wish I could have seen. I know Xian broadcasts his run every single time or every single tournament that he's a part of. I would love to see that kind of replay and what happened between the Akira versus Seth. But that's a lot to really take in. Now it's got me even more excited to see how this Akira is going to play out with Captain Y. And Bells, that's a lot on his plate too. It's like, this is the guy that kind of like beat the guy that's trained me and taught me how to play.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like with Laura, there's a lot of mixes that Akira may not be able to handle. But she's got the complete kit, right? She has a 3-framer, she has an uppercut, she has really consistent damage, and she has a really obnoxious way of getting in.
Yeah.
She's the new Urian to me, right? I'm gonna say it this way, strictly because she has a very easy get-in tool with EX elbow.
Yep.
Right? And it's unpunishable. It's -2. You could also cancel it into V-Trigger.
Yeah, so having that, oops, I can't believe it's not neutral button is one of the best things that you can utilize. And, Laura doesn't have that traditional reversal, has to opt to use that V-Trigger meter to escape.
Oh, interesting. So Captain Y is actually going with Trigger 1.
Yeah, not using the V-Trigger 2 that we were talking about previously before the match started. So I'm going to be excited to see how this shakes up because normally we do see the V-Trigger 2 on the Akira.
Yeah, so we're going to get the Mix Master with Daigo, with the Daigo assist coming in from V-Trigger 1. Bells, on the other hand, pretty standard.
Yep.
V-set, right? Trigger and skill 1.
Nice EX Thunder Pop, and you're stuck in the corner, screen real estate. These throw techs have been so consistent on the side of Captain Y in the beginning of this match, but you still are not out of dodge. You need to get the screen real estate back. Great check.
There's been a lot of heavy normals being thrown out, kind of anticipating the counter poke game from both players. So there's a little bit of reluctance to kind of close the gap on foot, right?
Nice.
They're primarily doing it to catch normals. There we go. We talked about some of the light normals that Akira has. Big Brother coming in for the assist, plus frames, out of here, still has to block and hold that. That's one of the dangers of using V-Reversal against Daigo because he has a follow-up as well. You're dead, Sunset Wheel installed.
Yeah, going to Sunset City, and that was actually yeah, the first time that option was represented, and it did connect because before it was meaty after meaty, and all the throws have been tech, so Captain Y getting scooped up, and that's the Laura play that we do expect, but...
And I like the check from Bells immediately, by the way. After the forward throw,
no.
She can dash up, but it's not her turn afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Speaking of dash ups, what a check there from Bells. Empty jump low, the classic mix. You mean to tell me there's no cross-ups in the corner? Well, guess what? I got empty jump lows.
And the Shimmy Hendrix right there going to be huge. Has the full extension air series right here. Nice.
Hitting it with a left-handed lick in the corner. Oh, my God! He was still caught in the air!
That was so good.
I thought that was going to be a cross-up.
Yeah, I thought it was too, but I think Bells did not know what to expect. And Captain Y, you know, may be in the school. Xian,
Yes, that's what I like to see. So I told you, she's the complete package. She has also the uppercut set that most of the Shotos have. She has that roundhouse uppercut to get past the thunderclap, and it pushes her so far forward.
Yeah,
too.
the horizontal range that you get from that uppercut is
so good.
valuable, especially, you know, a lot of great characters in this game have a way to circumvent the fireball game. That's what you love to see.
How did you know?
Oh, no, and the critical is available. You might actually just be dead here. Should be enough damage for Captain Y to get this first game. Daigo's got on my side. Big brother, help me out. Oh, not enough just yet.
That was so interesting. Yeah, he's had only like 3 hits prior. You still get an opportunity to strike afterwards. Captain Y taking advantage of that situation. Bell is just unfamiliar with that follow-up afterwards from the critical art. So that's just a little bit of unfamiliarity we saw.
Yeah,
but it's very minute too. It's one of those things where you had to play against this character a good amount of time so to understand, like, all right, well, I can't really check in these instances, right?
Yeah, and that's what's difficult too, because, you know, while we are seeing Akira on the rise, you're not going to have the most matchup experience here, and I don't know how much Captain Y and Bells have played, but in these weird kind of matchups, that's not your, like, typical, you know, Luke, Seth, Cami, Dalsum. You got to figure it out on the fly, and right now, flying high, Captain Y, with this pressure, it's just starting to overwhelm Bells. Big crush.
Yes. So he tried to get sneaky. He tried to steal some plus frames there with the elbow, right? He tried to do it meaty, but that's not a real thing. That's actually not a real thing after the back throw.
Yeah, I got called out for the fake stuff.
Had he done like a lighter one, I think like a medium one probably, but I'd have to double check that. Either way, Bells is ready for it. The crouching heavy punch has to counter it, but no follow through again. Catches the thunderclap. Look at the mix afterwards. He just dashed forward with a genius.
Yeah, that was so clean, you know, figuring out a way to escape Daigo. And again, the shimmies have been so consistent from Captain Y. One-touch situation in the corner here. Goes for the overhead. You know, good challenge knowing that it's not plus, so time to party. V-trigger is activated. One mistake. Thunderclap is there. Oh, no.
Oh, he was trying to catch the thunderclap.
Yep. Nice. Oh, gets locked down, but no, you had to finish it off there, but it doesn't matter. Too afraid of the thunderclap. Gets taken to Sunset City one more time, trying to even this up on the side of Bells. Looking good so far.
I wonder if there was enough space for Captain Y to contest with maybe a low normal in between the thunderclaps. No chance for a whiff punish.
Yeah. Oh,
same side and the Sunset Wheel. One more sequence could actually possibly get a stun. All right, not anymore.
Yeah, and Captain, oh yeah, the great anti-air. Captain Y has not been afraid to challenge, not bashful at all in this situation. Good block on the mix so far, but not this time. Oh my goodness.
Oh, he jumped the combo. He doesn't get the corner carry, as well as a ton of damage, because there's not a lot of scaling involved after that Daigo. The second hit of Daigo, I should say. Oh,
yep.
It's all falling apart. There's a lot of antsy decision making coming in from Y. I think it all came about from that drop from V skill.
Yeah, I mean, when you lose that composure after such a critical combo, because getting that corner position as Akira is going to be like key to locking down Laura. She can't really escape without, you know, spending that V reversal.
Yeah.
And, you know, Bells smelt blood in the water, and that's what I love to see. That's what I love to see. It's like your opponent makes a mistake, all momentum is mine now. I'm not slowing down.
As you should have really.
Oh no. Goes for the tick throw once again. Lockdown, yep, elbow. And challenging on the side of Captain Y. Loving it.
Captain Y still not contesting. I feel like he's still within range to uppercut or even sweep. There it is. Again, no follow-up with the standing light kick. You could buffer that.
Yep.
You could most definitely buffer that.
Again. Yes. Captain Y, you got the earpiece for him right now? Absolutely loving what's doing that. And there it is, exactly what you said before. Contesting on the thunderclap with a low normal and getting straight through. That's huge.
So smart. So Bells actually countered that fireball the first time, but it was a lighter variation. Captain Y throwing out the heavier version. There is a significant gap, so Bells actually getting punished for his own counter. That is great now. Again, Captain making a huge rebuttal after that big fatal mistake from the last round.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about that too is Captain Y still has all resources, full critical art on deck, and you know, if you might drop this the first time, I'm going to get it the next time. It was actually just a way to make you feel a little more comfortable than you should have felt. Oh, tried to EX through.
Yeah, that doesn't work out. But Bells, you know, him getting out of the corner this way just gives him another shot at getting the mix against Captain Y. See, we talk a lot about Akira. We haven't really talked about Laura, given the fact that most of the strategy has been approach with Thunderclap. Yes, you can duck after the third kick. Bells definitely knowing that part of the matchup, but nothing on Meaty, right? Like, he hasn't been able to stuff Captain Y effectively.
Yeah, it doesn't have the consistent Meaty setup and just keeps getting caught by those jabs right now. Big Brother is on the way, jumps back, and just avoids Daigo completely.
Out of there. Going for the Thunderclap again. Actually very fortunate to get a hit, but no, sir.
Yeah, check this time. One more interaction. Bell's trying to escape.
You can't do that.
It's not real. And final game, final round for these two. Who's going to move on to top 8? Not going to be playing anymore today. And who's going to have to fight it out in the losers bracket?
Oh my god, that was a counter hit? That's hella damage.
Ooh.
Oh, you're actually going to die.
Yeah, talking about hella damage. One more mistake. One more throw. Stun is definitely a factor. And again, the challenge. No consistent Oki. No consistent Meaty is the problem right here. And you can't escape. Oh, you did escape.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
You can't time it a certain way, and the positioning of it was great for Bells. Those are some of the specifics you have to know, and he knew it. I will take it back. He did know like the harder specifics of the Akira matchup. One touch away to make it into top 8. Does Captain Y have anything to say about it? No, it's going to be stuffed by the light kick. Bells did not have to take any sort of risks against the captain. He is the captain now, moving on into top 8.
I am the captain now. And moving on, actually convincing at the end. And, you know, Captain had to, you know, the will to keep moving forward. And Laura just has so many options to check. Can't really go to this guy because Captain had already showed consistent anti-airs. That standing short just comes out so fast, catches any dash. And even though we did not have the meaties on deck, sometimes you don't need all the meaties in the world to move forward. I mean, yeah, because almost every single time after the dash forward got punished by the jabs, but still went for the setup. Maybe just didn't get the timing appropriately, but at the end of the day, didn't end up mattering.
Imagine not looking forward to the entree and just focusing on the sides and still being satisfied. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, I don't need that prime steak. I've got those mashed potatoes hit different.
Yeah, man. Mac and cheese. Ooh,
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
A good plate of mac gets the job done, and the mac attack was definitely what we got to witness.
Oh,
right
yeah,
here.
100%, right? He didn't let anything overcook in the oven in the mental game, right? He still managed to play his game correctly. Despite not having like the meaty situations, his mixes were there. He still applied pressure very well in neutral, keeping it nice and safe. One of the things that was so interesting is he didn't get deterred from utilizing that thunderclap.
Yep.
After getting punished, maybe like a handful of times, but he's like, you know, maybe if I spaced it out a little bit better, and which he did.
Yeah,
so,
and I think it was 3 total like punishes on it from the DP, and it's like, you know, for how many thunderclaps you threw, that's a pretty good success percentage. So you cannot let your opponent instill their will in those situations. You have to utilize those tools because it's such a key factor to Laura's game plan, and it was a major key to Bell's success. So going to be fighting Davloh tomorrow. Guile versus Laura. That is going to be a fun one. And I need to see Bells have the meaty on deck because Guile has a lot of ways to bust out.
He has to knock Davloh down first.
Yeah, true.
We've seen how pertinent Davloh is with the Sonic Boom game and how well he places his normals, right? So we'll see how that works out. It's going to be a real slugfest, but we're moving on back actually into Singapore versus Thailand through ways of Brandon versus Mind RPG.
Yeah, Brandon versus Mind RPG is going to be such an exciting match because I remember Mind RPG is trying to beat Brandon for the first time. The first time in a top 8 qualifier. You know, when the pressure's on, that's where you overcome your limits. And it's time to break through to the other side.
And we'll see what happens, right? This is a matchup that they've been playing off against for a while, but never on this grand of a stage in terms of positioning, right? This is the top 16 going into top 8, but it's going to be Luke versus Bison. And this is a matchup that actually has been played a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I feel
you don't say.
You know, Bison is still hanging in there. I still think he's a very, very competent character within the realm of, like, you know, contesting against the top tiers. But Luke, man, what hasn't been said about this character, right?
Yeah, Luke is, I mean, he's one of the coolest characters in the game. Obviously, the future of Street Fighter, going to be seeing him in Street Fighter 6, but dominating the scene in Street Fighter 5 as well. You know, the cardinal sin of picking Luke and Sin Brandon staying true to their name.
As you should, to be honest, because he's also the complete package.
Oh, he
like,
is.
We
yeah.
talked about complete packages before with Akira. Luke is the complete package, right? You see how much damage he possesses, and the fact that he could get so many of these routes for consistent damage and stun is kind of nuts. But even outside of that, right, he has the fireball game down pat, right? He has amazing normals to convert off of. He has an uppercut as well, and he has a 3-frame normal, right? Those are some of the things that you kind of look for in a very, very strong character. Just a little bit of a hint. If anybody's looking for certain tools to like influence their decision making going into Street Fighter 6, look for these things. I'm just saying, man. Like, if you don't want to play that way, then that's cool too. And then, I'll do it for you.
and you got to remember, you didn't even mention one of the best parts as well. Is this guy does a hefty amount of damage?
Oh no, we talked about that's one of the first things I chimed in on. Heavy damage, and if the damage isn't covered, it's the stun. Stun factor is amazing.
So heavy damage, heavy stun, heavy chance of moving on with a character of this caliber, especially with the historical matchup between these two. No more Goki. Sorry, Akuma. Put him in the back pocket. I've got Goki Plus.
It is Goku Plus.
Yeah.
Goku Plus is actually a pretty sick name. Okay. Moving on up. Brandon now again. Just being able to cover after that throw is so important, right? That standing heavy punch is so far.
Yeah, such a good button. It makes it so incredibly hard for Mind RBG to contest. Good stuff.
He actually thought he had the punish there.
Yeah. Right, standing fierce in the scissors, V-ship, nice, and that gives you so much screen position. That's the most important part. Great anti-air so far. And Luke, can try to bust out here, but this is where Bison shines. Oh no, it's party time.
Even if that button was nerfed, hey man, if it hits successfully, it's gonna be quite the party starter, as you just mentioned again, going into the Sandblast, keeping that pressure away against Mind RPG. What Brandon wants to look for, right, is whether or not Mind RPG is sitting there for the charge.
Yeah, trying to see where the charge is coming. Challenges the orb and the throw. Now you have to be super conscious of whatever comes next, plus afterwards trying to challenge. Same thing, any touch, V-trigger activation. Miner should be feeling good about this, but Luke can just play this full screen game. Oh no!
That was mad unfortunate. You know what's wild about that? Like, had he blocked that and found an opportunity, I think Brandon would have been able to possibly get a chip damage kill. He went for the gusto. He thought he had the uppercut against the Devil's Reverse.
Yeah,
Word?
That was clean. And like you said, yeah, had the chance of going for the curve art. Not able to get the whip punish right there, but I love the idea.
Ooh. Trying to check the dashes as well. Reversal Sandblaster catching Mind RPG. The whip punish is there against the Psycho Axe. Yes, sir. What's the pressure afterwards?
Oh,
a nice tick throw.
Yeah, and gonna be able to stun here.
See what I'm saying, man? That stun is so good.
And it's a little deceiving too there too, because it looked like a situation where I think any other DP probably wouldn't have gotten the stun there, but Luke just he has it all.
I gotta say that was like a sequence and a half.
Yeah.
Of getting stunned. Oh boy.
That slight walk back, that micro step into the low forward, such an excellent option, and now Bison just running out of screen to work with.
Oh. I like this for Mind RPG. He's just walking it out. But that's a big signifier for Brandon to start chucking these Sandblasters.
Yeah. Oh, that is tragic right here, because now next sequence has the critical art. You cannot afford to get hit by anything. Any normal, we've already seen the whip punishes come out consistently from the side of Mind RPG, and you got to get those anti-airs. You can't let him get in like
he
this.
Can actually get a chip damage kill scenario again, because Mind RPG is in fact in trigger. He's got a tough hill to climb too. Even with trigger, this is going to be his last one. He still has to spend so much meter to get that extra damage.
Yeah, now with the gray health, any block string means that you are done, but such a good option from Brandon, getting the first game, and still had so much resource to use. Even if you block that, you're just stuck under duress.
That's literally what I was going to say. You took it right from my brain. I got to say, like, yeah, hit or block, he was dead.
Yeah, exactly.
If he had blocked that, he would have run into another sequence and got chip damage.
And it's because of that gray health as well, because, wasn't going to be building the V-trigger, goes for the V-reversal anyways, and he's like, oh, GG, shake my hand. You block anything? Good stuff. Oh, you get hit? You better have the best read in the game and the best whip punish in mind, or else you're donezo.
Oh.
That's so good.
So, I mean, like, why not go for it, right? If you see Bison going forward, he doesn't have any meter, too. He can't EX stomp through it. He's going to have to hold this, right? He has to react to it raw.
And it's better than a traditional Fireball as well. So, we talked about the excellent Fireball game, but the Sandblaster, it's Fireball plus.
Good. It's so good.
And the whip punishes are so good consistently. Brandon has just been punishing that standing fierce. Typically, we see Bison dominate with that button, but Luke just excellently spacing. Brandon. Oh, yep.
Bison! And he knocked the microphone out of Jake Ryan's head.
I got a little mixed right there. I was like, wow, I got anti-aired.
checking the lows, primarily looking for the movement, right? Plus frames afterwards, Mind RPG, looking for the activation. What happens now? Sin Brandon just getting out of the corner, or sorry, getting out of dodge, really, not the corner per se.
Yeah, and again, even if you get hit by this, the confirm is going to be enough. It does so much damage!
Oh my God,
Why
Jake,
does it
what
do
is happening?
so much at the end of the combo?
Nasty.
And even if that didn't kill,
It would have killed anyway.
it would have
What do you
killed
mean?
anyways,
That's-
yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, didn't even have to spend the EX at the end either. Like, yeah, I'll keep
not.
my 2 bars.
That's so funny.
Yeah, finally the counter hit on the standing fierce. You know, not a big success rate, but feeling successful in the corner now. The pressure is going to be
Oh,
crucial.
yes.
So good.
That's what I'm talking about. Now a little bit of a stun from Mind RPG. There's going to be a lot of scaling involved, but here comes that blast, the Cycle Blast. The throw is going to be 1 touch away, but no. Yeah, actually, Brandon was the one to try to sneak it in there to get the corner position. But Mind RPG, very mindful to press those buttons, get that round against him.
Yeah, definitely. It all started from that first stand fierce counter hit because you get the... That's what I'm saying,
Go on.
jeez.
Oh, he bet it all.
I mean, in this 1-0 position, I mean, you do have an opportunity to bet, but you do not want to lose this team against Mind RPG. And like we said, hasn't been able to get the win yet
That was
over
beautiful.
Brandon. It was again.
I love seeing Psycho Wax punish.
Yeah. Oh, and a good check on the dash. Not afraid. Brandon has just consistently showed the whiff punish and now the dash punish. And any situation, you know, you can't, even as Mind RPG, you can't really confidently activate V-Trigger here because the full critical art is available for Brandon.
He's gotten that so often. Like, I think there hasn't been a single moment where Brandon hasn't had full critical art stop.
Yeah. And, oh, yep. Goes for the slide activate. But now, you know, the double-edged sword right here, you have to slow it down. Gray health already burned, and now Mind RPG. You can't take another pressure sequence because he gets another V reversal. The gray health comes out, and it is lights out.
Plus frames after that. Yeah, Brandon is looking real clean right now. Oh, that's huge. Oh, does it matter? Does it actually matter? Chip damage? He tried to press a button. Oh, no. What is happening? Brandon is like, you know what? He's back at the thrift store. There's a Street Fighter V cab. He's trying to make that dollar count. I'm sure it's like due to inflation prices. It's got to be like $1 a game, right? He's like, you know what? We're gonna play this out. I don't want to take you out just yet.
Yeah, I'm out of credits, all right? This is my last dollar. I don't want to get off the setup. And that was a counter hit at the end, too, so I'm actually curious.
2 times over.
Yeah, I'm actually curious as to what Brando was trying to press there. Had the full resources, you know, didn't opt to go for the DP because it was punished before, but, you know, not willing to send it at the optimal time to send the message.
Most of the time that we've seen Brandon try to check movement, it's been with low medium kick.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, that's got a little bit longer startup in comparison to like a touch medium plus.
Yep.
I think, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. But either way, he still got counter hit, right? He just wasn't in time to check the movement.
Yeah, but always in time to check the punish on the stand. Fierce and such good spacing against the throw. And, you know, that time I'm not taking the throw. Mind RPG betting it all right there.
There's the activation plus frames. Again, a counter hit from the side of Mind RPG. Brandon tried to check a button after the trigger activation.
And again, like we said before, the critical art is always imminent on the side of Brandon. It feels like he just hasn't excellently utilized his meter. The neutral jump is so clean, and you're done. Set point for the side of Brandon, and he's already going to be starting the next round with critical art after 1 interaction.
That call out made me feel it in my gut. I went full primal. I went, ooh. Like, it was
broke my solar plexus as well.
So we talked about that instance, right? Mind RPG actually utilizing that head stomp to get past the Sandblaster, right? It's a very hefty one at that. It costs meter, only for a decent amount of damage with no Oki, really. So like, what happens afterwards? Brandon's like, you know, I'm not really phased by that. I'm going to go ahead and just move on over.
Yeah, and again, uses the meter to get that extra touch, but it's not even equalizing the life lead right here. Still has 1 bar to work with, and the EX Sandblast, and now I get Oki.
Or so you thought.
Yeah.
So you thought. Yeah. I mean, Mind RPG still has enough life to build himself an extra bar, but at the same time, it's like, what are you going to do with V-Trigger 1 after that if you do not have EXs to back up the damage or your openings?
Yeah, and I think V-Trigger, you know, unless you're able to utilize the V-skill a little bit more, isn't going to be a possibility in the rest of this match. Mind RPG, you know, fighting with limited resources, and Luke is about to have that V-Trigger activation. No, go for the V reversal. The gray health is more important.
Oh, boy. And he's trying to go to the last round.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, best believe you got it. Mind RPG, Bison in general, has some pretty fat damage in combos, I should say.
Yeah, gets the right confirm and had more than enough with the 1 meter. Trade on the anti-air, you know, still paying off for the side of Mind RPG, and it is dead even.
Oh, yeah, with punish on the Psycho Axe. Although, I think Mind RPG might have moved forward. It looked like he recovered in time, but still, look at his normals.
Dude, I feel like Brandon has punished that standing fierce almost every single time.
Ooh. The standing heavy punch, nothing behind it. He was moving forward, so there's not really much he could do to buffer.
Yep.
No check from the low move. Or excuse me, low forward didn't get followed up with anything from Brandon either. V-reversal out of the way.
Any correct confirm is going to be a one-touch situation now from the side of Brandon. Not able to get the anti-air
The
there.
back throw is so important. Oh my! Had it been a neutral jump, yeah, he knew he was looking for the activation the whole time. Brandon knowing full well what Mind RPG is trying to do.
Yeah, he can still close this out against the plus frames on the EX kick. All right, chasing down. A nice jab.
And it's so tough if you're Mind RPG, right? What do you do with this extra movement that you possess with Trigger 1? I mean, what else are you going to do with that? Not much, really.
Oh, and the jab check at the very end. Mind RPG trying to close it out as the V-trigger ran out. Knew that, 35 seconds left on the clock. You have to start chasing down Luke because he has 2 bars. You can't let him build anymore, and you can't let him chip any more gray health away because then it's just a 1 standing medium kick or 1 low forward away from victory. And Sin Brandon, Mind RPG, you didn't get the W on the board, but you were this close. Razor's edge.
Pretty close. One of the things I want to see him utilize is meter plus trigger. I feel like some of the moments where he had an opening, it didn't lead to anything. It didn't lead to any sort of threats, didn't lead to any sort of Oki. Majority of the time, he hasn't been able to play his game. Like, how often have you seen him really put Brandon in this particular position outside of that game?
Yeah, I think it was only the one time, and you highlighted it perfectly. Kept spending the resource to use the EX dives, and just even though you were able to get into that one situation, every time V-trigger was available, you see it's only 1 bar. Only 1 bar every single time.
What are you supposed to do about it?
I mean, it just depends on like maybe being a little bit more patient and neutral.
I forget that he has a buff that, I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, wait, do you actually need the meter for that extra damage? You don't. Like, you could get like special move into special move, but like what happens after that? Like the damage is still minuscule, right? You're not getting, if you're not spending it for EX scissor kick, you're not going to get that like the Oki setup afterwards.
Exactly.
You're not going to get that extra damage, the really good damage I should say, into like that Oki situation, right? I always forget like, damn, he actually got like super buffed with Trigger 1, but it wasn't just like the usage of meter. He could like freely go into like special move to special move, but you could see like how little it really did to affect Brandon. He's like, all right, I'll take this damage, sure, whatever. He'll cancel special move to special move, but it's not like a hard knockdown.
Yeah.
It's not like fear of Oki afterwards.
Yeah, you don't get that money sequence that you want as Bison, where the knockdown is where the pressure just continues to mount, and then it's like, all right, hard knockdown into hard knockdown into hard knockdown. Guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say with Brandon and his awareness in terms of what Mind RPG want to do in terms of movement too, he put him on the spot a lot of the time, more often than not. No bars intended, but he was checking the movement pretty well, and that's exactly what Mind RPG was trying to do for the most part. He was trying to sneak in a couple of dashes, right? Let his normals speak for themselves, like Psycho Axe, huge range, obviously.
Yep.
Scissor kick, pretty solid range as well, getting chip damage, etc. But that wasn't going to be the case for Brandon whatsoever. But that's going to be their first 3 going into the top 8, I believe.
Yeah, first 3 going into the top 8, and we were talking about range, and there's a game that has a wide range of characters that I think we're all going to be wanting to get on, and that's going to be, we saw the stage in the first game, but the next stage is going to be set because Street Fighter Duel is the Capcom authorized mobile game. Street Fighter Duel is now available for download in China with a global version coming soon. You can fight alongside Ryu, Chun-Li, and Ken against the Suzaku Castle, further into Shadowloo City, and explore the mysterious organization. You're going to experience the classic stories with all your fighters and recall your memories of the original Street Fighter. There's a lot of good memories there. Your Street legend is now back on track. The track is back. Various fighting style and counter, stun, combo, and supers are available to you. An impressive array of fighting elements, and the associate combos offer you a new battle experience challenging your combat skills. So you better not have any skill issues because the epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter, the best. Hopefully in the West soon, but in China, that's the place where you got to be right now to download Street Fighter Duel. So
give me the global version now, please. I know we're determining who the best fighter is for our top 16 today, but we're also doing that plenty of times over with the World Warrior Initiative, right? The World Warrior is going to be pretty big because you get to earn a spot at Capcom Cup. For more of that Street Fighter V action, there are the new World Warrior regional events covering 26, that is right, 26 different regions, giving us 26 regional champions. These events happen monthly, so head on over to CapcomProTour.com for more information and how to register. You see all of the organizers, all the way up from the top left, from BR Kumite, all the way to the bottom with Clash. These guys have been spending a lot of time to get this World Warrior Initiative ready. And I'll tell you what, man, it's for a very good reason. There's actually one going on right now with Big Bird's region, I believe. So that's streaming pretty much all weekend. I know that Wednesday Night Fights is going to have theirs next week as well. But there's going to be a bunch of spots for this, and it's something that you all really need to get involved with, especially for your community. If you guys are trying to find out where and how to register, again, it is CapcomProTour.com.
Yeah, make sure to get signed up on the CapcomProTour.com because all of these community representatives have been running these tournaments the entire time while we've been online. So I'm really happy that they have the opportunity to represent regional champs for the Capcom Pro Tour.
We got the Unga Bunga as well. That's what I'm talking about.
With
Unga Down Under. That's what I'm talking about. Salt Mine League is there.
Yeah.
Super sick. Blink Battleground? Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Get washed, man. All these, listen, I've been trying to see something like this happen for a very, very long time, right? So I'm very excited to see it. If you guys haven't been able to, I think I'm going to be retweeting a bunch of it. Jake Ryan's going to be doing the same.
Yep.
If you guys happen to not know as well on social media where to find some of these things, let us know. We'll definitely direct you to the right place.
Yeah, we're going to direct you to the right place, and the right place to be is this stream. But we're going to need, take a water break, get a little bit of a snack, because we've got even more delicious matches coming up. Ooh. So make sure, grab your Red Bull, grab your drinks, because we are about to experience even more fantastic Street Fighter. So we'll see you soon.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned to defeat. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are Street Fighters.
When you go looking for strength, it's not like a game. This journey doesn't have a real ending. Okay then, hope you're ready to begin. If you want to start off on the right foot in this city, hit the streets.
Yeah, hey there, I do this. Never fear losing. And when I get up in the game, y'all be improved. A real problem, but I solve them all facts proof. And if you think I'm gon' fold, then you talking fool. Yeah, y'all wanna win, let me spin, boy. Or dunks aside, I'm super fly like I'm hanging off the rim, boy. I've been winning for my kinfolk, and I put on for my city from the intro. Fight! It started from the ground up, training getting wound up, channeling it in itself and moving up and down, crossing over, passing around up on the time like I can keep score. Years I never thought it crossed before. When I get out on my knees, I got it digging it deep. I feel like I'm on the left, it really has got me. Since I went to win, no goodbyes, if you just did again. I'm riding up scheming, riding and dreaming. Once I get the feeling,
The top player is here.
Let me have some fun.
Ready? Then show me.
This will be a good fight.
if you wanna come and stand up to me, pull up on me now. If you wanna challenge, tell me what you wanna call me now. I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back. I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back.
This is our destiny. My secret art. Street
all riders have to strike out on their own.
Let's do this.
Back into it with the winner's side. We still have one more match to go through to determine who our fourth player is going to be between Roxas and SKZ. My name is Vicious here with my man Based Jake Ryan. We've been going through a little bit of the matches earlier on. If you guys had missed it, we highly encourage you guys to check out the VODs. We are streaming on all social media platforms. Just a little FYI, we talked about the World Warrior Initiative too. Before we went into the break, CapcomProTour.com is where you need to find all that information, because I highly encourage you, if you are able to participate and your region is actually going through with that program as well, please do so. It's the final year of Street Fighter V. We have to go out with a bang. I've been talking about that actually with a couple of friends of mine as we get into the bracket as well. You know, EVO is right around the corner, right?
Yep.
Why not go out with a bang and celebrate the game that has actually brought you into like a lot of different friend circles in the community, right? I've told this specific person, I'm like, look, man, you wouldn't be in this Discord call specifically if you didn't play Street Fighter V with us. So I mean, like, you have to pay some respect and just go in for the last year. You have to, man.
Yeah, I absolutely love that too, because I've met so many wonderful people and so like been a part of so many wonderful communities that like support the scene from different parts of the world because of this game.
Yeah.
Like the World Warrior it's real. It's so real. Like whether it be Europe, the US, East Coast, like Southeast
all parts of Asia.
All parts. I remember after I commentated the China CPT last year, all the Chinese players followed me, and I was like, My Ken was like my favorite player that I watched for that tournament. And I saw the follow, and I was like, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Like that's fighting games is a universal language. So like you said, let's make sure that we continue to speak that language in Street Fighter V.
What's funny about that qualifier, we were all watching it, like me and the UK boys as well. We were watching it while we were in Poland for the Intel World Open, by the way. So we were watching it at the same time zone. We're like, damn, this is sick. And again, it's the same thing that kind of brought us all together. So I mean, why not pretty much send it off the right way? Make sure to join in on all these CPTs if you can, right? Join in on the World Warrior Initiative. We will highly encourage you guys to even try your best. I mean, it's
hard.
What else can be said? We're going to get a little emotional here. But either way, let's take a look at the bracket and who we have for our final moments in the winner's side, right? Roxas versus SKZ. Earlier on, right, we had Davloh versus Vakarian. A big donut on the side of Vakarian. Davloh actually, again, put it in that work 2-0. Captain Y fell just short to Bells. I think he wanted a little bit more than he could chew with the Akira, but it is what it is, right? Bells making it out with the Laura. So those are our first two candidates. Then we saw earlier Brandon versus Mind RPG. Mind was so looking forward to the run back and trying to see whether or not he could take him down in this side of top 16, but that's not the case. He does not have, his final moments just yet, as we are going to see him in the loser side along with Captain Y and Vakarian. But it is going to be Roxas versus SKZ up next. That is Indonesia versus Singapore. We can see from the player portraits as well as the character choices, is going to be Luke versus Seth, and I love this from SKZ in particular. I was looking forward to seeing whether or not he had changed characters. He absolutely did it. Seth is the character that he rocks with, and he does it so well.
Yeah, Seth is still one of the strongest characters on the roster, and against the Luke has a lot of great tools to contest with what Luke has to offer. Can deal with fireballs pretty well, and the Sandblaster, but also low stun, low health, and Luke is the
dangerous.
That is a hard line to ride, because Oh, I lost 2 interactions. Oh, I'm stunned. I'm actually just dead.
He's coming in with the Birdman hands on this one. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, you mean to tell me I get to play one of the matchups where I get to bust you open? This is going to be nice.
Yeah, crack the dome piece, steal the eggs,
Yeah.
everything, you know, getting scrambled.
Let's take a look at what SKZ had to say actually going into it, by the way. Okay, should be okay as long as Roxas does not unleash his curse. I'm going to have to DM SKZ about that one after this match is over. If you're listening to the stream, SKZ, I got to know what the heck you're talking about.
So I think I remember reading SKZ, not SKZ's quotes, but Roxas' quote, and people think that he has voodoo powers.
Oh,
That he
yeah,
has
that's right.
voodoo magic. And I mean, I said the same thing about a different player, and you might know him, Dogura. I called him the boogeyman because when you fight against Dogura, it's like that aura around him. You see the letters showing up behind him, and you're like, oh god, this is ominous. So maybe on the other side, you know, that ominous aura. It's like every time I play this guy, it's just I get this kind of feeling, this chill on my back. You know, the imminent doom that is approaching, the storm that is approaching.
I don't know. Roxas looked like a really nice guy. I mean, looking at his player profile picture, he's looking like he's got a nice smile, right? He's happy to be here. But then as soon as he picks Luke, it's a whole different demeanor, I feel like.
It's the gamer lean that comes in. You pick Luke.
Oh, yeah. Like
get
it's
in
got to be
there.
like 15 centimeters forward. It's like a 15-degree
How
angle.
far am I from the screen?
Then you get the tape measure out. When
Yep.
do we get Tokido's tape measuring skills back? Like when does that happen? Has he
think-
like memorized the distance already where he doesn't
Yeah.
have to?
Is it just muscle memory now where the eyes like adjust? Can you imagine they calibrate? You see his pupils in real time like a DLSR camera.
That'd be sick.
That would be sick. And we're seeing a sick start to this match. You know, one interaction, you're already down 30% health on the side of SKZ. Like that's one of the hard parts of playing Seth because you just explode. No.
That's fine. It's not punishable.
Yeah, true.
It's totally fine. Yeah, V skill 2 is something that's going to be helping extended damage and get that corner carry. That's going to be huge.
All right, the mix-up that comes after this is so potent. Keeps the
You
orb
can't
there.
press the button.
Yeah, you're not allowed to contest the orb. Ponder
Oh
this.
my
It's
God.
nasty. And we're talking about low stun on the side of Seth, but that sequence was beautiful. Kept the orb in front. Roxas cannot challenge in any way, shape, or form, and then gets the mix-up at the very end. That was
The messed up thing about that jump roundhouse is it could have been roundhouse axe kick.
true.
That's the worst thing about it.
There
is
was
that
more.
Yeah, there was. But wait, there's more. Call now and you get this extra mix.
Call 1-800-SETH now.
That actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually fills the number requirement.
That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful, and the anti-airs are absolutely beautiful.
Oof.
So many. It's like full trigger, full critical art, both sides. You're about to explode.
I feel like if he had, I think there's a way to get like a meaty Avenger off of that.
Not able to see it, and now guess for game situation. Oh my god.
Jesus. And I like that decision from SKZ. I don't even know if crouch jab into EX uppercut would have killed, or just like regular uppercut would have killed, but I think going for EX Hekaton was pretty good. SKZ is onto something here, but at the same time, we saw that little misstep I got from Roxas, actually, that followed through with the no chaser. I think it's no chaser, right? With the
Yeah.
can't remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The elbow.
Yeah.
The shoulder tackle is what it is.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes. The shoulder tackle, you know, a little bit of a misstep, and you
so
see one misstep in SKZ, it takes a mile.
I thought you went European on me. I think you said SKZ. I was like, excuse me?
SKZ?
Excuse me?
That's right. Gotta go ahead and, mix everybody up on the desk and in game.
Counter hit conversion, yes, sir. Charged up flash number. Look at the amount of damage from that counter hit. You're actually dead again.
Oh, yeah, you are exploding. No, but the
Nani?
huge drop. Nani, sorry.
I can't believe it. Yeah, I mean, I would use that too as well. I mean, Rox is making the right decisions with the reversal, or sorry, the shift to get out of there.
Yeah, shifting gears, going straight back into neutral. You do not want Seth to be on top of you, especially with the V-trigger too. Nice, and now Grey Health is so huge. Any touch will kill, and that is so brave, SKZ. Not afraid to challenge, and now you have 2 more interactions to play with. So much great damage. Oh my god.
Does he have enough?
Not yet. Maybe if he did EX there, could have potentially killed, but now, again, you chip the situation too, but that was shut the spacing. What happened?
SKZ was mashing on crouch and jab to save his life, by the way.
We're jamming
and I
on
respect that.
I mean, you're looking at a chip situation anyway, so, I mean, might as well challenge. If they make a mistake, you come out on top. It's your mistake, my reward, and being rewarded heavily. Next touch will stun, and that is what we're going to be seeing here. Not going to be able to kill off this, but one-touch situation, once again, is going to have the 2 bars to work with.
Roxas is still trying to contest. So that's the thing, right? SKZ actually got away with taking down the round using crouching jab against Roxas. Roxas was like, you know what? I'm going to try to find your gaps too. Nah, son. SKZ had so many different layers of frame traps. That was a complete wash in that specific round. SKZ laid down all of the frame traps back to back to back in 3 sequences and took down Roxas. To move himself into top 8, that was actually kind of disgusting. The amount of damage and the amount of frame traps over and over again, I couldn't bear to watch. I'm like, yo, counter hit on counter hit on counter hit. That hurts. That hurts, man.
I mean, it's after seeing SKZ like accidentally escape that situation and get out. It's like, well, anything you can do, I can do better. And SKZ just had the setup, and it's like you said, we were excited to see. That was so nasty. We were happy to see that SKZ was on the Seth because this is the character that they have made waves with, and that is a statement and a half to just end on a perfect against Roxas. I mean, I absolutely love that, and the voodoo magic was definitely in effect.
I mean, he might have cursed himself back.
Oh, no, actually, yeah, in
he
the opposite way.
Yeah.
The reverse curse.
Look at that, man.
It's so good.
SKZ has been super impressive. I've been a huge fan of his since his inception into Street Fighter League, but because of his performance prior to that, right, he's really put himself on the map with that Seth. As soon as Seth came out, he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to play this character. This character seems pretty good. And man, he's one of the most aggressive Seth players that we have in the world.
Yeah, and I absolutely love to see that aggression because all the tools are there, like we said before, you know, having that full package on the side of Seth, you know, maybe a little bit squishy, but when you are not letting your opponent play the game, doesn't matter how much health you have.
True.
And when you have that willingness to challenge, even though you know you might lose, like putting your opponent off kilter with that is huge, especially momentum-wise, and I don't think Roxas recovered from that jab punish.
No, not mentally. That's for sure.
That's mental damage.
And so we got Brandon versus SKZ, right? My 2 picks to pretty much move on in. This is, I think this might be Brandon's match against SKZ, but we'll see how that plays out, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be another Luke. We've seen how SKZ has taken a ton of damage before. It's going to be a different Luke, but we're going to see all that tomorrow.
Yep.
So again, that's our first 4. Moving on into the loser side, though. This is going to be very interesting, right? Bearpop versus Versace. That's going to be Ryu versus Juri. And I'm pretty much looking forward to that. It's Indonesia versus Philippines.
Yeah, and we've seen what Jury can do to fireball games. You cannot haphazardly throw fireballs. You have to be very precise because we saw a specific player actually already qualified for CPT. I think his name's Just a Kid.
That's right.
What he did in the Midwest versus the West Coast showdown, every single time a rose fireball was thrown, my heart broke a little bit. Just it continued to be deteriorated down. I don't really want to talk about it that much, but I do have to recognize that. And I do have to recognize that these are the youngins in the bracket. Versace,
Holy.
17 years old, and Bearpop, 22, the Ryu versus the Jury.
You're looking like a boss right now, actually.
That is an executive picture right
That
there.
is.
Also, I love Bearpop's Twitter, wholesome boy.
It's wholesome E-boy.
Wholesome E-boy.
That's what it is.
And he's got the E-boy get up, like the executive E-boy. I don't even think it's E-boy, it's
I think
executive.
that's executive boy is what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Damn. All right. Well, that's going to be the matchup we're looking forward to, right? Jury versus Ryu. Most of the things that we kind of talk about when it comes to Jury, she has to get started. And I'm not talking about like the momentum. I'm not talking about like her normals, etc. I'm talking about like getting V-skill ready for fireballs.
Yep.
And you could pinwheel through that. Right, but at the same time, you'd want to like maybe V-skill it, get some of your kick storage as well to get either your fireball game started or even like combo extension started if you wanted to. But Jury requires a lot of maintenance. But when she runs well.
Yeah, you gotta make sure that all the bells and whistles are available on the Jury ride because you don't want to have to pay for an extra service that you should already be tapping into.
That's what I've been saying, man. And playing this character, you kind of realize that I was like, man, I could have actually probably killed with this combo route had I, installed it earlier. But that's a different kind of management game, right? On top of like the meter management. Ryu hits like a truck. Oh yeah. Again. Yeah. And I love it. Actually, his buffs have been so solid, right? I want to see whether or not V-trigger 1 or 2 is going to be used, right? There's a significant boost with the fireball game and the stun damage that comes in from trigger 1. But the damage you get, it doesn't even matter. It's going to be the Cody. Hey, now.
That is an adjustment and a half. I absolutely love the Cody here because...
Crouching light kick into full activation, trigger 1. That's what I'm talking about. It actually is going to be the knife. And the
so
sway.
good. Yeah,
I
crime
wonder
sway.
what the crime sway is going to be used for.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like going against the stocks. There are a lot of opportunities. I haven't gotten to see a lot of the Cody. Actually, no, I have seen a lot of the Cody versus Jury. Xian versus Just a Kid, one of the main reference points I would go to there. So
very common matchup, that's for sure. Which is funny to say, right? Cody versus Jury, a common matchup? You don't say.
Who would have thought that at this point in Street Fighter V, common matchup right here? And that's just, you know, the diversity and the strength of these characters that we get to see. And another point I wanted to tout on the side of Versace for Jury, it's like upkeep phase is one of the most important things, and not a lot of the characters have to do that. And here's the thing, not only is the pressure amazing here on the side of Bearpop, the chip damage you can get from this knife, even when you're blocking, is so rough. Oh yeah, but the anti-airs are on deck, and you know, has all the charges right there in the world. The upkeep
that's huge, he's crouching! Oh, it's
no!
too far! That medium kick is a little bit too short, it was stunted. You actually couldn't extend the combo too far again!
Oh no, this is party time again. This one knockdown can mean lights out, but has the V-trigger still available, you have to be so scared.
The block on the overhead. No conversion off of that Bearpop. Ready for the punish. Just didn't get the right starter for the combo.
Yeah, and that's two conversions missed from both sides, and that's critical, but Versace is the one who comes out on top because he was able to establish a lead earlier in the match. What a zonk! And the wall bounce? Jeez. Oh no.
The counter hit, but just nothing of it afterwards. Losing Versace out just a little bit. Doesn't want to be overzealous with it. Activation of this plus. Risen B plus after the second hit. If it blocks, Activation City, you have to hold that.
Oh, yeah.
What an interruption.
Yeah, nice spacing. Winning the throw excellently, and now Versace is the one on the back foot.
Chair moving again. The car counter is there, but again, there's not really too much afterwards. It could have been a kill, but Versace surviving the crime sway. That's what I was looking forward to. Yep. And you cannot charge in front of the mayor. That is actually a very, very long-range roundhouse. But we saw the instance of the crime sway.
Yeah.
We've seen words being utilized, and it's against
the low
kick
fireball. Yeah, the low kick fireball. And I love Bearpop's willingness to move forward. And Versace, you know, getting a little bit too greedy on the upkeep. You know, the aggressive nature of Cody just jumping right in and saying, no recharges. And again, it's on trying to get those stocks. You have to be a little bit more careful because Bearpop has already exhibited that they're willing to go in. And now activation, this is where the party starts.
Oh no, the bad spray! Oh, pocket sand.
Pocket sand.
And that was a counter hit, by the way. That's a lot of damage. That's actually death.
Jeez. Even if it didn't kill. Stun, stun didn't even matter at that point. You didn't have any health to work with. And Cody, you know, we're talking about Ryu hitting like a truck, but this is the dump truck and a half right here. The mayor.
Mayor of Duff City now. It's not Balrog. It's definitely going to be Cody. I wonder what Smug got to say about that. But either way, yeah, no, that was a lot of damage being dealt from Cody. That's just one of those instances where he just played it right. There was so many moments where he could have gone the side switch on him. He's like, you know, I'm going to back off. That was one thing. But also just knowing full well where to place his normals correctly. That's one of the biggest things with Bearpop.
Yeah. Oof. Oh, that's such a good trade, too, because not only do you lose the stock, you get so much screen position, and again, the normal placement has been immaculate from Bearpop. Finally, Versace getting out of the corner and getting right back into mid-screen.
Oh, the counter poke is there. Again, a lot of the counter poking coming from that tool, crouching medium punch.
Yeah, and these trades are still paying off in the side of Bearpop. Not only do you have the life lead, but you're continuing to have screen real estate, and again, a challenge. Oh. Ooh, nice. Ooh. Has V-trigger activation whenever they want, and there it is! That was huge! Took the words right out of my mouth. The screen couldn't have given me more truth right there, and Bearpop on set point.
That was actually a very deliberate frame trap because he was going to go into V-trigger nonetheless. Man, he kicked the heck out of that sign. Shouldn't have been standing there. What? No, sorry. Roundhouse.
This is a no sign zone, and again, the zonk's connecting excellently. And you know, you have to be able to, like, you're always consciously thinking about that was such a good confirm.
He's actively swinging that crouching heavy punch. He's counterpunching against Versace with that tool only. There hasn't been an answer from Versace against it.
I love that attempt to try to get the dash punish on the whiff zonk, but, you know, Bearpop ready with that standing light kick.
But what do you do after that throw? Yeah, checking with a sweep afterwards. Sweep into the fireball. There is a gap in between it.
Yeah, and still,
I wonder if you're able to, like, traverse it with maybe, like, a crime swing.
Yeah, potentially. We didn't see it there, but again, this chip damage is going to build up even if you hold all this blocking. Next situation, you're going to lose. Does not have V-trigger activation, and the throw afterwards isn't enough. One more touch will do it. Not going to have critical arc to chip, but, you know, no V-trigger will be available. That song! That was so clean, and we already see Xian is in the room.
He's already watching the match, and he's like, all right, I'm up next.
I'm pulling up. This was a executive decision that we had to make. He went and called him in. I need you to come to my office because Versace has just been expelled from the room.
He flew him all the way from the Philippines just to eliminate him.
Oh my god!
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
He said we have to have our annual meeting.
Our annual meeting. We're going to be checking all of our KPIs, and you didn't upkeep appropriately. You didn't have the books on deck, and we're booking you a ticket straight to the losers bracket.
You mean to tell me you spent all of our budget on Versace items? Is that what you mean to tell me? You're fired.
How are we going to support Metro City in this economy?
Yeah.
with those kind of decisions, you're going to have
these
to
inflation rates. Come on,
yeah,
man.
all right.
No, but in all honesty, I think Versace had the right idea in the first part of the matchup. It's just one of those things where there were certain normals that he couldn't get around against Bearpop. That was just taking so much of the screen. Right? There's a lot of counter hits, a lot of counter poking that came from Bearpop. He's like, all right, well, I don't want to try to let Jury get started up close, right? She can try to get her maintenance on with a lot of the kick storage. She didn't get to do like V-Skill 1 at all, but yeah, Versace was running into a lot of counter poking normals. I think that's like one of the biggest takeaways. If Versace is watching, which is one of the things that he has to be mindful of, is when to actually try to like expect the counter poke game and whiff punish appropriately. I think Jury has fantastic normals to do just that, right? If you actually counter poke with medium kick, it's really, really effective because if you get the first part of it, you can cancel into something. So it's just one of the things to keep in mind as Versace. I didn't get to see a lot of medium kicks as much, and that's one of like the special buttons from Jury. Like that is the button.
That's the
Jury.
money button right there. And yeah, like you said, there weren't any situations that I can really recognize where the whip punish game was existing, and Cody definitely won out on the counter poke game because it felt like the round start always ended up with Versace getting pushed into that right side of the corner. I didn't see Versace on the left side of the screen for a majority of that set. And that's rough. That's rough. You never really had a chance to escape that part where it just felt like Jury was a caged animal and the mayor was, taking a bite out of crime.
Yeah, sure. We could put it that way. Xian versus Vita is coming up next. It's going to be a battle of the Singaporeans again. It's going to be Seth versus Ibuki. Now, this is the matchups we kind of highlighted not only because Xian is on deck, but the opponent that he's facing off against with Vita is using Ibuki, and it's a character that he pretty much invented. Yeah. And not even just in this iteration of Street Fighter, right?
Yeah.
Even in the Street Fighter prior, he's been able to dissect this character very well. This is the Xian character, and it's going to be so interesting to see how Vita pilots this matchup, specifically against Xian.
Yeah, you think that you can use my tech against me? I mean, it is...
If he gets hit with the Xian, I'm going to go nuts. I'm actually going to go nuts.
I mean, it is the perfect storm that can potentially happen, the ninja storm in the future that could be coming out. Like, getting hit by something you invented?
That would be sick.
That's rough. Like, that's really like, dang, maybe I...
It's
and then the potential...
strong.
You think about the potential slip. If he gets hit by the Xian, and then we see the Ibuki mirror, it's like, you can't hit me with my own grime. I feel
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
It's going to be so cool. It's actually one of the matches that I'm looking forward to. Not only just because of the matchup itself, but where they're positioned in the bracket, right? This is a loser side match.
Yes, which means it's do or die. And, not seeing Xian get to that CPT spot in the final season of Street Fighter V would be surprising because the caliber of player they are. And
I mean, he's been around the block plenty of times.
True.
That meme is like, how many times we got to teach you this lesson, old man? It's just, we'll see, man. It could be the rise of the newcomers.
Yeah, and Vita definitely has a lot on their plate to overcome this obstacle. And, loving the Seth right here. And just like we said, so many Twitter clips, so much depth into this character and time. And it's time. All right, here comes the mix.
Oh boy. But that's not too bad, right? Getting caught with the overhead like that, and that's going to be totally fine. Vita actually attempted to keep him locked down with the EX kunai, but this is going to be all Xian City now. What are you going to do?
Yeah, ponder this orb. Great defense, though. Not a lot of gray health, not a lot of chip. And now, all right, it's party time. Getting locked down in the corner here. The screen position is the most important part. And the bait on the DP. Nice neutral jump.
I don't like the punish on that, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, like, most of the time, I'm not going to put it that way, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. Xian could have gone for bigger damage.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, he got hit with the same thing again.
Yeah, and I like that, Vita not dissuaded from using the same option. It already worked once. There's no way he'll go for it again. How many times do I have to hit you with this, old man?
Word. That is highly punishable.
It
blocked. That is. I had to get real intimate with you guys, Chad. That was really risky.
You really take that full, that full force decision. You're like, live and die by the sweep.
I liked it. I love that a lot. Yeah, that slide, very much so punishable, you know, but it worked. It worked out plentiful. And look at this, Vita from long distance, making that collect call.
Yeah,
throw now.
and so much utilization of the V skill too to get the full punish. Oh, but you cannot charge up the kunai. No reload allowed. Oh, nice.
The
Finally
deliberate wait. That was actually a reversal on the side of Vita. Xian actually still got hit. Can you make it? No, we cannot.
Yeah, not close enough. I mean, it was really... I love that Xian went for it, but still close. Should be able to kill.
Not quite.
No, not yet.
The throw will do it. Or counter hit, crouching jab. Vita might have had a little something to say on wake up. Possibly. It was a delayed normal or a delayed throw. Either one, Xian was ready for.
Yeah, Xian calling it out and like already has the resource lead here. Nice check. Just a little poke. And these air throws, that's the second time we've seen it in the set so far, so really consistent from Vita.
He still got hit by the tail end of it?
I'm taking my own abilities
Was
back.
that-
This is my character.
If that was counter hit, he could have gone for a full combo.
Yeah. Again, V-Trigger is about to be available, has full stock on these resources. Xian is about to explode on pressure versus Vita. Now you have to guess on this mix-up. Still has 2-bar, you cannot challenge. Goes for the V-shift. Nah, it's not. You're not allowed.
Not in the corner like that. No, sir. Xian has definitely allowed that specific occasion.
Yep.
I've seen him stream that specific occasion. He's like, all right, well, these mix-ups cover a lot of ground. Normals, delayed tech, even V-shift.
Yeah, and that's what you love to see too, because you can get so creative with that orb, and we know that Xian has labbed out every single situation for that, and like whatever V shift it is, how it's gonna come out, and just textbook, like you said, you're like, oh, I've seen this before. I like this story.
Yeah, and it's not too bad though. I will say from the side of Vita, I think outside of being cornered, I think he played it extremely well. I think there were certain instances where he caught Xian off guard, but there's just something about V-Trigger 2 that he's just not familiar with yet. But to be fair, there have been like a million ways to die when it comes to facing off against a Seth V-Trigger 2.
Yeah, I mean, because there's so much creativity that you can use there, and both times so far that we've seen Seth on the screen, it's been the orb in front where it's like, try to challenge, try to escape. It hasn't really been the super grimy stuff where it's like, I'm going to go for as much gray health as possible and this next sequence is going to kill, or maybe I go for the mix-up afterwards. It's been that this is a brick wall that you cannot challenge, so you have to hold this. You have to hold my next pressure sequence, and the pressure's on, and we switch to Claw. Vega on the screen?
Word.
All right. I did not expect this coming, but I mean, it's do or die at this point.
What happens with the interaction between Vita's Vega and Trigger 2 now? Like, what's going to happen? He doesn't want to... I feel like his Dookie didn't do too poorly at all.
Yeah.
I think it was such a solid choice.
Yeah, I thought that the matchup could have gone either way with a couple good decisions from the side of Vita, but maybe there's something in this matchup that he likes with Vega versus the Ibuki, and now in this corner position, trying to play the strong game. Wow, what a good activation, sliding out of the corner as well.
He has to.
Yeah.
To reposition himself correctly. He still gets like a poke, like he gets Oki, but just off of like one normal. I mean, it's better than nothing. I hate to say that with Vega, though.
Yeah, better
all the
than
Vega
nothing.
players are like better than nothing, huh?
Oh, that was so ambiguous, and the ambiguity is huge. And build the critical alert on the last hit of the DP right there. Xian with the calculation, mathematician. Math magician.
Yeah, he's just making stuff up out of nowhere. I like that.
On the fly, you
like
and
it.
I.
So one of the things that I wanted to know is how Vita actually got hit. I feel like he got hit prior to Xian going airborne.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I mean, maybe, I don't know what he would have tried to challenge with, but maybe, I'm not sure what he expected.
Very interesting to see either way. Vita, again, swiping away. Standing medium punch has been the main tool.
Yeah,
I like that. Jump back medium. I love the activity, too. The active defense coming in from Vita. Even if it's not an anti-air, he will go air to air. But man, that V-skill 2 got stunned.
Yeah, and this is so rough because next sequence, if you take anything afterwards, you are going to be stunned. And it's a 50-50. You got to guess here. You cannot be reversal. You're just stuck under duress, under pressure. One more situation has all the stock in the
Back
world.
roll do it. Oh, and he knew. Xian actually could have gotten a full conversion. He did get counter hit standing light kick. He could have gone for another one. But Vita living just for one more sequence. That was the...
Oh,
man.
my.
Don't be hit again by it.
Yeah, nice V shift out. You cannot. Oh, wow. Punishing, trying to get in to take that turn after the neutral jump, and the delayed kick catches Vita. That was clean. That was clean because that's the first time we represented that option. And Vita had to go in, had to try to take that opportunity, and Xian is just on that next level, one step ahead. And, you know, Vita had a fantastic showing, you know, in the top 16. You know, it
was 3 matches already?
Yeah, that was
Brother,
that
are you
was
kidding
3.
me?
That was the quickness. I think we got donut after donut. We're going to
not this late.
Our favorite shop. I mean, they're open, the 24-hour mom and pop shops.
Man, of course they are.
Mm,
But
yum,
I
yum,
mean,
yum,
yeah,
yum,
like so. So hey, listen, Xian versus Vita. I mean, to be honest with you, I loved the way that Vita piloted that Ibuki. I'm not too sure about what had happened as Vega. I will say only on the defensive end. I think his offense was pretty decent.
Yeah,
like
offense
he
again.
was keeping Xian pretty grounded for the most part, even covering the air options. I will say that.
Yeah.
But it was just a matter of like what he did against V-Trigger too. I gotta see it on the. Man, do we even have like the replay on that? I gotta see. it again.
That one situation where it was mid-screen and it's like, what did Vita get hit by
I know. Oh man. Well, I'm gonna have to check out the VODs in that one. In the meantime, y'all should pretty much be doing the same, right? We're slowly getting into our top 8. We've already established the winner side. We're slowly going through it with the loser segment. Xian just taking down another one to see who's going to be the best. And again, we've talked about this plenty of times, but you know, we got to see what's going on with Street Fighter Duel, right? Again, it's been coming out for a while, and it should be for the global region because it's something to look forward to. It's something that I've been looking forward to for a very long time because I'm a big mobile game consumer. I'll tell you what.
Right here with you, buddy.
The Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel is now available for download in China, with the global version coming soon. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now, and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter.
And if you want to have a chance at a journey to the Capcom Pro Tour, you need to make sure to sign up. We do have a break next week, but afterwards, Central America East is going to be available for registration. Head on over to CapcomProTour.com for more information. It's going to be on July 30th and 31st. That is the last week before EVO, so you're going to get to see some of the hottest competition that we have available, and you want to make sure that you can compete too and register for your region's events. So Central America East is the next stop. Once again, it's going to start at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Daily Time. Stream starts at 2 p.m. afterwards, so make sure that you go to capcom.us/CAE to get more information because you want to get that coveted spot for the Capcom Pro Tour.
Man, we're doing the most, actually, with the CPT. I mean, that's how we should really do it, right? We take a look at the tournament schedule. You see that big logo right between August 5th and August 7th? Ladies and gentlemen, the EVO Championship Series is coming up real soon. We're going to see everybody coming in full effect in person in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the States. And again, it's something to look forward to, right? We also have Australia with their current registration period. I want to see the Unga from down under. I want to see it all go down because that's also, I've talked about some of my favorite regions. Australia is definitely one of the ones to highlight. I love seeing all those cats throw down because they're very innovative. Very innovative, I should say. I added an extra syllable there. Don't tell anybody. But either way, you see the next 3 events, Central America East, EVO Championship Series, as well as Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting closer and closer to that top 8, but I tell you what, right now, I've already pretty much popped open my Red Bull.
Yeah, mine's already
he was cooking
out.
his way early, but I highly encourage you guys to get another refill, grab some snacks, grab some drinks, be sure to hydrate yourself. We're coming back into it live with the rest of our top 16 to determine who our top 8 is going to be. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Street Fighter V action after this break.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned to feast. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
Hear my strength.
Have a taste of this!
Don't take this personal. I'll show no mercy.
This is for my fellow hunters!
We've started off strong in the Capcom Pro Tour Southeast Asia region, and we've got even more strong games to deliver. Once again, I am the strong man himself, Jake Ryan, the based variety, with my man Vicious right here. Saitama, the one-hit wonder right here. Don't get in his way. He'll knock you out, fella.
I mean, I'm a nice guy about it.
Yeah,
you
true,
know,
true,
I'm
true.
a nice guy.
A
Just
hero for
fun,
hire. Yeah, hero for fun.
Yeah, that's what it is. But either way, we are talking about the top 16 going on through it, right? Let's take a look at the bracket and where we're at currently, because we do have a little bit of a switch up, right, Jake?
Yep, we got a little bit of a switch up here. Sadly, I Am Xian was not able to continue in the bracket, so K-Derm, Red Pablo is going to be moving on to fight Captain Y in the future, and we're going to be coming back to the Bravery match versus Lacuna C. We're going to be waiting on that one as well. So we're actually going to be starting with Roxas versus Bearpop as our next match. So doing a little bit of a skip here. Don't worry, we're going to be going back to that other match. We do have that one in the wings, so staying tight for that, but this is going to be a top 8 deciding match. So the last match that both of these players will be playing today, no matter what. And Roxas got a little bit reverse cursed by his own voodoo magic. And Bearpop, just had a great victory over Versace, with the counterpoke game. Maybe we're going to see the Ryu this time. I loved the Cody, though. The Cody was just...
Yeah, I think he had the right idea, but there's going to be a Ryu versus Luke, and I kind of don't blame him, right? I kind of want to see him. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to both, actually. If he had happened to fall with Ryu, him going to Cody would be a pretty solid pick against Luke. I think it's a very solid play against it. But I think Ryu does pretty decently against Luke as well. I think there's a lot that he can offer against Luke, and he deals out a ton of damage also while in trigger. So we'll see how that plays out. Bearpop versus Roxas, very exciting to see it. Again, just to kind of highlight, again, Chuan, we talked about him in the pregame show, just one of the players that have been highlighted. Just to refresh your memory, or just to kind of highlight it again, he will not be able to play in his match in his top 16, just to kind of for those who are asking about it in the bracket, just in case for those asking in the chat, it's like, hey, what happened to this matchup, this and that? Well, again, we are moving on to Bearpop versus Roxas. Very excited to see it, to be honest with you. Battle of Indonesia. It's going to be Ryu versus that Luke. A matchup that's pretty common, I feel like. And despite me saying that, there hasn't been too many Ryus I've seen, but it's still a pretty common matchup in the current state of the game.
Yeah, so I mean, like we said, we haven't been able to see it as much, but the commonality of the matchup, you have the traditional Shoto that is Ryu, has all the tools, and then Luke is the future. He's like all the toolkit, all the juiced tools. Yeah, it's like, this is my tool template, and it's like copy my homework, but make it a little bit better. Like, it's the A, and then you got the A+. Like,
imagine copying the template and you still do better than the person. Like, oh man, that feels bad.
You're like, wow.
Did you ace that test?
You had the same watermark too and everything. What happened? Oh, you're blonde? What? Oh, come on, bro. You got tattoos? Popeye? Your arms get bigger?
That's the best, actually.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely love that.
the Popeye arm. That's one of the best feelings because you get to leave yourself plus and get a ton of damage if it hits.
Oops, all plus.
I love it. I personally, I mean, I play both of these characters now, just to kind of like
Same.
have a little bit of fun in rank now. Like I love utilizing Trigger 2 on Ryu. I know Trigger 1 is the better one right now, and maybe people are gonna say it's conditional, but
yeah.
Trigger 1 is a fantastic one, but Trigger 2 deals a ton of damage.
A
ton of damage.
Yeah, a little bit of the extra fireball game, a little bit
It's
of the
Cody
guard break,
again!
and it's Cody again.
And
I mean, I love the crime sway in this situation too, because you have so many opportunities that you can escape the pressure from Luke, and then you get to explode this young man.
Ooh, yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. Bearpop utilizing the crime sway to get past the initial sandblaster that Roxas presented. And that's so smart. The counter hits are riling in for Roxas, though. Bearpop got caught reaching a little bit in the counter poke game.
Yeah, had that immediate read in the beginning of the match, but now Roxas, it's coming up all young man. I got all the tools. EX Shoto.
He's a citizen of Retro City. No, I feel like that's exactly where Luke's from.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. That's so much damage.
Yeah, and has the featured activation here, which is huge. I mean, this is where you can really start to mount the comeback, and that is such a good decision from Roxas. Get off me with that knife. I'm not made for these streets.
Get a little bit of a sunburn on him.
Yeah, with the arms, it looks like.
Went to the beach, didn't get that sunblock, man. SPF is a killer.
That fair skin. Oh boy.
He kicked the hell out of the network. That was counter hit straight to the router.
Kicked the cable right out of the setup right there, and this starter is huge because the feature is still active. I want to see how it breaks out, and we're gonna be coming back into that match shortly, and that's so tragic because that is definitely the money starter for Cody there, where it's like next situation you are stunned and you are dead, and we already saw
he was hella dead after that.
Yeah.
And I love the animation of
his face,
Luke's face, because like he's crouching, right? So he's taking a massive leg to not only like his shoulder but also to like his ribs too. And
that's a crucial hit.
That was huge.
Those ribs cracked. There's not really a way to heal him other than time, and time will tell how the rest of this match shakes up. Are the ribs going to be broken?
Most of the time, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. But in terms of how we're gonna pretty much call this matchup specifically, it really depends on where or how like the disconnect occurred from what side, which we're gonna determine in just a little bit. If there's no way to actually determine that, then we would probably go off of like maybe trying to like recreate the situation, with the life bar,
and the health,
etc. But for the most part, we're trying to figure out, do our due diligence to make sure to keep it as fair as possible, to make the right judgment call. So you guys have seen it a good amount of times, right? I mean, we've been through these streets before in prior seasons. So at the same time, we still have plenty to work with, right? It's still going to be Cody versus Luke from the side of Bearpop versus Roxas.
Ooh.
Bearpop actually is the one that actually got the DC. He's going to be taking the L in that first round against Roxas. Is this the curse that SKZ was talking about?
Oh my god. It's actually coming to fruition.
Is this the voodoo curse
Bearpop
that SKZ
is looking at the screen
was talking about?
And there's just a cackling Luke face. Just ha 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 ha.
It actually sounds like Kefka. Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa. Man, that'd be sick. Okay, so anyways, so Roxas, again, being also from Indonesia, I can't imagine like where exactly they're both playing from, but at the same time, Bearpop is the one that is disconnected. Roxas is taking the first round, so we're going to recreate that situation, at least for Roxas, right? He's going to be taking that W. I don't know what it's going to be like for like the meter situation per se. But
it's gonna be a timeout situation.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
so meter's gonna be dead even.
For the most part, I mean, like you're gonna get like maybe like a jab first. It's gonna be like a little jab, and then they're gonna run the timer. Timer over. So it is gonna be. That's probably gonna be like the fairest possible judgment call as we can get, right? So Roxas is gonna be up that round. But from what I saw from Bearpop, it looked like he's pretty much got the matchup knowledge on deck. Right?
Yeah.
One of the first things we saw him utilize is look out for the sandblaster going right into the crime sway, right? So he also has noticed a little bit of the tendencies of his opponents early.
Yeah. Right.
We saw that counter hit, the big freeze right before the disconnect, right? The big freeze was that standing medium kick against a crouching Luke normal, right? The counter hit. There's not a lot of time in that first game, that first round to really get acclimated to your opponent.
Yeah.
So the fact that he knew exactly when to catch that counter hit is a pretty big signifier. He's like, all right, well, I've played this Cap before. I know exactly how he wants to press buttons. Or he's had enough experience online or wherever he's playing at his local to be like, all right, well, I know the timing to kind of bait out certain buttons from any player, really.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. Bearpop looking to be the experienced player right now. But again, that disconnect caused him that first L in the round. It's not as tough to climb back from, but it's still something.
Yeah, it's how the chips fall from time to time, and that's what I love to see, especially at this stage in the game where you're trying to qualify for top 8. It's not only about the player matchup, but it's also knowing when it's your turn versus the character, because, you know, there are variables that the player is going to be able to change, but having that much experience and getting that counter hit, like, in that convincing situation, like, Bearpop created that situation. Like, that's what he was aiming to achieve there, I would imagine, especially with the knife already activated. Like, that's what I love to see, because now that mental stack, even though, you know, you got the round on the side of Roxas, can you continue to curse for that long? Because you have to be feeling that. Because that round, you might be looking and be like, oh, I got kind of lucky on that. I got kind of lucky. I was about to die.
Yeah, you were definitely about to get got. I mean, that counter hit could have led to so much. And the fact that he's not even using, like, the V trigger to, like, get that counter hit initially. That medium kick is a real button. Like, I think Momochi had taken a good amount of time off of his, not off of his stream, but like he would stop like playing and just kind of show off what he can do off of medium kick, like the range,
that's ridiculous,
the damage you can get, the conversions off of that. I think there was like a FGC translated excerpt where he's like, medium kick is a very good button. This is why. Like, he's actually done like a full breakdown of that button alone,
just one
from Cody,
just one tool.
And then he would go off into doing like, hey, look what I can do off of crouching light kick. Like, I've seen that whole stream. Yeah,
it's so good to see like that character breakdown, because when you tap into the potential and really take these characters to their limits, it's like, wow, like this limit testing has definitely shown me what I can do, and people will like sleep on it, and we've seen what Momochi has been able to do. It's like, oh, this interaction on another character, oh, you optimized it? Oh, I'm stunned.
Oh, no.
Oh, that was 60%? Really?
Oh, you didn't kill, but you have stun?
Well,
jeez.
it did kill. Wow, that's wild. But, I mean, it's wild to see how much the character has already developed and gotten better over the lifespan of Street Fighter V. And that's, like, with the majority of the cast as well. And we've got the timeout there. So now we are back into the match. We're going to see if Bearpop can use that same experience, and already starting off strong. That is a mental stack and a half. You know, Crime swayed in the first game, and now Roxas is a little bit hesitant to open up with the Sandblast.
And for good reason. Bearpop actually knew it. He made the right call. And he went in for the crouching medium punch to start things off. But look at the positioning. This is what's really important, right? Bearpop, oh boy.
Uh-oh, we're
I
talking
spoke too
about,
soon.
Yep, the back throw incident and a half, and now these trades. Bearpop trying to fight out of the corner. What a good utilization.
Oh my God! You punched the Zonk Knuckle? The unpunchable? That is actually insane.
That is so good. And especially, like, that is a brave option and a half. Like, that Zonk Knuckle, it's fast. And Luke, just a little bit faster on the trigger. And right now, pulling the trigger with the Sandblaster into the throw. One more touch will do it, and nice counter hit. Roxas was trying to get any hit probably into V-trigger activation, because that's when, once you get that knockdown, you can really start to steamroll. But
steamroll is definitely the right word for it.
Yep,
that was after one big old fierce, big heavy punch against the... How did you even punch the Zonk Knuckle? It was EX. He saw him flash and just... That was nasty.
He literally probably was watching the meter and was like, boom, immediate. That reaction test from Bearpop. That's the young man reaction right there. The executive, oh no, the young man reaction on the side of Roxas.
Yeah, I think from that distance, Crime Sway isn't going to be as beneficial for the matchup. So Roxas, again, that's the green light. That's exactly the positioning. Oh, this is tough. Yeah, that ruffian kick just a little bit too close for comfort. Roxas getting a full-on damage, full-on punish.
Oh, and the sway!
Oh, no.
Bad prediction right
there. You
there.
can't sway these hands, man.
No, you cannot. Hands are definitely coming in hot, but the knife is ready. And this is, again, like where the steamroll begins, all right? We gotta clean these streets, the street sweeper.
Street sweeper.
Oh, my God.
Man, now he's in the back streets, right in front of Abigail's scrap metal yard. Like, he's going to be playing dirty. Oh, boy. He just wanted that, and that was raw.
Oh, we're talking not raw there. Great hit with the Zonk afterwards. And Bearpop, you know, that might have happened in the first game before, but with the tragic disconnect, not what we were able to see. So Bearpop,
I mean,
you can't sway these hands. He might sway our opinions.
He went from Sandblast to Pocket Sand too. That was actually pretty sick.
I love that. Using your own sand against you. Don't you ever get that on my nice vest again.
Oh.
playing that neutral zero right here. Not afraid to stay close. So good. Yep, get off me. No plus frames for you.
No bad spray either. Roxas was a little bit reluctant to kind of move on in there, but still trying to get a ton of real life, which he did, by the way. Oh, no, the counter. That was actually a full confirm.
Yeah, huge confirm here. Nice. One more touch will do it. You have to be so scared here. When do you opt to challenge Roxas? And that is a trade and a half. Now, another game, a game on the board now for Bearpop, going to the final game between these two. And again, it looks like Bearpop does have the know-how in this matchup, and you know, even with an unfortunate start, keeping that composure, and that's what we love to see from these players. You know, even if it's a minor setback, you have to be able to overcome. It's not about when you get hit; it's about how you recover from it.
And the swings have been very, very convincing from both ends.
Yep.
Right? As soon as somebody starts rolling with their momentum, it's just going to be in the benefit of that player.
Yeah.
I think it's been back and forth so far with Roxas. Like he gets that hit, he gets that opening, and it's just lights out for the other person.
Yep.
Bearpop, on the other hand, right? He got that opener with the crime sway against its charge flash knuckle, and he just went with it. Right? There's something about like. I can't tell if it's the defense being opened up or if the offense is just really great.
Yeah,
I think it's a mix of both, obviously.
It has to be a mix of both, but you know, that offense just feels unrelenting from both sides. Like when they start going, and
it's a slugfest.
Like when the offense is that good, it might just crack through the defense because like it's so hard in those moments because you know Luke has that great jab option, but Cody. Once again, it's like, oh, you want to use your active defense? Well, I have the best spacing here. And then the opposite is also true for Luke. It's like, oh, okay, you whip the normal, lights out. Anti-airs are on deck, and my pressure sequences are huge. So now we're switching right back into the game here. Final game between these two. Loser goes home. Winner plays tomorrow. And you want to get that top 8 because the top 4 is when you're in the money, and you want that chance at the TPT spot as well. So one more opportunity for both of these players to stay alive.
And it's so nerve-wracking, too. Like, again, Bearpop is already starting to get away with it. A lot of the counter poking has been going through for Bearpop, and Roxas is also swinging. The crush counter is there. This is where it starts to get kind of dicey now for Roxas. The V-reversal does not land, and Bearpop again going for that crush counter off of the stand jab into crouching heavy punch.
Oh no, you just got to take the throw.
times.
Follow the rules of Street Fighter. Finally challenging because you knew one more throw was leading to a death situation, but now the corner is mine. V-trigger is full here, and this is where the sequence begins.
No.
Oh, whoa! We jumped straight forward. That was a zonk and a half to show us what happened in the throw at the very end. Roxas, now it's do or die.
I blinked and they were mid-screen. That was actually pretty inactive. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I like that. That's, you know, it may not be the most sensible thing because there's a lot of risk behind it, but at the same time, man, if you have a read on how Bearpop wants to play and how your opponent wants to play, then go for it.
Yeah, you have to be willing to utilize those options too, so I love that from Roxas, taking the initiative to show Bearpop that he is not afraid.
And it's the Sandblaster range that is optimal for Roxas, right? He's not going to be fearing really any of the crime sway, but this is going to be huge, right? The low forward confirming the EX flash knuckle.
Oh my god, what a challenge right there too.
Word.
Not having the right timing on the side of Roxas, and yeah, okay. Oh!
A lot of counter hits on the side of Bearpop, not really going through with anything to follow up with, but it's not too bad. I mean, he still gets the corner position. It's going to be huge.
Oh, you might be dead here. No. Go for lockdown. And now you are with a cross-up. Fantastic. And saves the entire critical art bar. But now it's full meter, full stick of butter, both sides. Who's going to really be cooking here? Who's burning the roux? We're going to find out next time. What will these players do?
Give me the crime sway and a critical art. Let me see that.
That's what...
Okay.
If you manifest that into this, I'm gonna take you out to dinner. That's what we're gonna do.
Ooh. Yeah, we're gonna get the shake. The big shake off that song. Oh, I mean, not the biggest punish. He got a standing light kick, but opting to go for positioning instead from Roxas now.
Oh, man. Yep, nice. The neutral jump into the punish right there. So good. Still has that full research. V-trigger is going to be popping down. And, you know, you have to keep this pressure on. You want to keep that stun as a factor. But the X-Zonk comes again. You can't punish it every time.
Oh, boy. That could have been a big trigger activation for Bearpop off of the crouching light kick, but still... just letting Roxas out of the corner. Not as many counter poses we're used to seeing. There's another EX Zonk, crime sway extender into the ruffian.
Yeah, next now, this is going to lead to an entire pressure sequence. You have to spend the rest of that V reversal. One mistake will do it. Can utilize the range of the knife, but oh, and it is enough. Challenging on the walk forward from Roxas. The knife does it, and Bearpop, even though they lost that unfortunate round due to the disconnect, able to close it out in a convincing fashion at the end, utilizing the strength of Cody. And Luke may be #1, but I'm the #1 mayor. Have you seen my polling results, okay? My approval rating is through the roof, just just like my damage. And through the roof he goes on to top 8. That's the last that we're going to be seeing of Bearpop today. Going to have himself a nice rocket pop as he rockets forward with that, the pressure he was able to deliver. So wonderful stuff.
Really looking forward to seeing more from Roxas in the future just for his scene, right? We're always keeping an eye out on any sort of community streams that come our way, and Roxas again with that Luke. I just want to see what the curse is all about, to be honest with you. But that's going to be a different time for how he's going to play it out. Again, big ups to Roxas for making it into losers round 2, but we are going to be moving on to Mind RPG versus Xian, and these guys are definitely no strangers to each other, right? The Bison pick is going to be coming in full from Mind RPG. Xian obviously rocking the Seth numerous times up until this point, and I still forget he's only 31.
Yeah, still, for how long that Xian has been in the scene, only 31, so you know, it's kind of funny because people are like, oh, you're an 09er, oh, you're an 09er, and it's like, you look at it now.
But he was mad young, though,
exactly.
coming into it.
09ers have been playing for 13 years,
Hey,
Jeremy.
stop, all right?
13 years.
Do you mind?
I mean, I've been playing for 10.
Oh, you know, either way. That's, we're old. Either way, Mind RPG. Do you mind? God. Mind RPG versus Xian. This is going to be a very interesting one. I want to know what happens with the Bison pick now. I want to know specifically what trigger is going to be on deck for the Seth matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, we're obviously, I think we're going to be seeing the V trigger too from the Seth, and the thing that's so hard for Bison is like, Xian has already showed that you're not able to escape. No V shift, no V reversal, no nothing. If that Bison gets in that situation, how do you get out? I think the thing you have to focus on the side of Mind RPG is just don't get put in that situation. And that's easier said than done.
Oh, yeah. When you have somebody as mobile as Seth, right? We talk about a lot of the advancing normals that Seth has.
Yep.
The axe kick also pretty much occupying a good amount of the airspace. Also, depending on what V set happens, or excuse me, V skill comes out, it's going to be
1 and 1.
Okay, that's going to be fine. No, it's going to be, it's 1 and 2 from the side of Seth. I was going to talk about Seth's ability. I wanted to know if Xian would ever opt to use like V skill 2 to kind of check the Bison from like full screen.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cats, man.
I love this stage. This stage is amazing. Lucky time, lucky cats, because no more curse is available. Roxas is out and the luck has returned.
And so we see the V set 1 coming in from Mind RPG, right? Trigger 1, V skill 1. Does get an interruption off of the light kicks, right? Into scissor kicks as well.
Yeah, absolutely love that. And, good V-skill punish, utilizing the meter to get in right there. But the thing that we talked about before is Mind RPG, every time he got the V-trigger activation, did not have the meter, so, you know, might come back to bite him. You got that little bit of damage, but Xian already made it out of the corner. Oh.
Pretty imperative, right, to continue the combo and getting like extra damage, not even just from like the buffs he had for Trigger 1, but we talked about that before. Xian right now is going to be highlighting some of the weaknesses that Bison has. It's not going to be a lot to do against some of the pressure that Seth presents.
Nice falling normal into the full punish, and now this is looking terrible for Seth. Low stun, low health, trying to escape. What a jab check on the jump out.
Next down follow-up, the hands. Deliver that blessing. Oh, yes, V reversal. That's so important, right? Not even letting Xian activate the trigger.
Yeah.
So smart from Mind RPG.
Yeah, and that was the biggest part, too, because in that point, had to take a risk to activate the trigger and even get in, so Mind RPG realizing he only needed one more touch. Oh, give me the steal.
Install. No, okay. Oh, there's the scissor kick. Yeah, like that was a counter hit. He delayed a little bit off the Hecaton freeze. There's some time. Ooh. That is a big whip punish.
Yeah, that's something that has been checking on Mind RPG multiple times in the last set, too, getting punished on that standing fierce. So, love to see the same skill display by Xian. Oh, no.
Look at the damage.
He is exploding.
What meter do you need? None of it. All right. I take it back. I take it back. Chat, I take it all back.
Oh, but the drop right there. You can't let that happen. This huge extension. It's going to be so much damage. You're actually just dead. Oh, no. Mind RPG had the game in the palm of their hands. And,
not like this.
You know, Xian knew that situation like the back of their hand. So, very good pickup on the mistake from Mind RPG. And now, that was first game. That would have been first game. That's rough.
What happened? What happened? I don't know. I can feel Sajam's aura.
Yeah.
But either way, like again, Mind RPG, he had the game in the bag.
Yeah, game in the bag, but you have to be able to secure the bag. Now full extension with the scissor kicks and the V-shift out. I like that decision. Ooh, the delay on the
was a
Devils.
Forward throw now, what happens? Trying to swipe away in case Xian trying to be a little antsy and trying to move forward, right? Or at least counter poke. But he was too far away to get that bait out.
Yeah. Oh, that is so much off of that crush. And in the corner now, one more sequence should be able to do it, but this is huge.
Yeah.
Gonna use the extension, and now this knockdown into the V-trigger too. But no, not even opting to do that yet. Wants a little bit more damage on the plate beforehand.
He has a counter hit.
Yep.
But it's fine. He wants to get the block spin going. Ball is
Oh,
live.
you're not allowed.
No,
Oh,
he
no,
is.
you
He
are.
is. He is. Head stomp is
That's right. That's the one option that can get away. That you, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter that you like dropped that last game. And you're right. We talked about it before that in the Seth matchup, the EX Kicks is invulnerable to get out there. So one of the unique options that Bison actually has. And I talked about it in the beginning of the match. How are you going to escape that situation? Well, don't get put into it, but when you get put into it, having the right read at the right time, and Xian overextending loses that first game.
Yeah, one of the biggest things, though, is that it's not invulnerable to strikes on startup. So I think there's got to be a better way for Xian to keep his strings tight with the trigger 2 activation, or at least like trying to keep the ball bouncing right. There is a block swing where you can keep him grounded, but as soon as that moment's over, I think he has to go for a strike to bait out that situation of using the EX head stomp from Bison.
Yeah, so I really like that Mind RPG saw the situation perfectly, saw the gap, and went for the EX kicks.
Super smart.
Yep.
And it's a charge move, right?
Yep.
Like you can't just like
you can't just say I'm just gonna do that raw. Yeah.
You can't spam it.
You gotta have the timing appropriate, and the time was right. The mind game was on the side of Mind RPG. All right. He knows what your next turn is. Okay. He can see the move cued.
Oh, he still ran into it.
Yeah,
Xian
that's
actually
rough.
thought he juggled out into safety, but that wasn't the case. He still had to block.
All right, let's see if that same situation appears here. There it is, the
you
bait.
see what I'm saying? Now he's going for the normal pressure, right? He's not going for the mix-ups. He's going for frame traps.
Yep, going back to layer 1. Absolutely trying to get the job done. Stun is Vector. Had to be reversal there. Most important part is you stop that stun meter from being a huge factor, but it still is imminent now.
Oh boy, the movement is there! Mind RPG with a jump back. That could have been critical art possibly into kill, but plus frames afterwards.
Oh no, that EX.
That's fine, I think.
Yeah, you're not dead just yet.
Okay,
oh, no,
yeah, too far.
Yeah. Not getting punished though, a little bit. Not, I mean, he recovered in time, so now in the corner. One more situation. The trade. Were you kidding me? Shit. You chapped.
What if he did standing light kick?
You die.
What if he did standing light kick, Xian?
Xian with no fear. I mean, you have to have no fear at this level, and now the scissor kicks are available. The Scissor Brothers.
Oh! Yeah, Scissors does get the counter hit. A lot of plus frames that have been catching Xian off guard.
Yeah, but even if you're caught off guard for a moment, you have to be able to reel it back in.
Oh man,
no!
that's such a tough angle, right?
Yeah.
You can't use the crouch jab anymore. You had to commit to that anti-air. I mean, maybe you could have been active doing jump back medium punch, but still, like it's such a sharp angle to contest against Xian.
Yeah, and I love Xian walking back right there, understanding that, you know, the stun was a factor, but letting Mind RPG go back to that neutral. And now the V-trigger has been activated. No mistakes allowed. Again, stealing the scissor kicks is huge. His next pressure sequence. You want the plus frames afterwards, but the dash forward gets the hit. 1-1 on the board. Xian feeling good about that one now, and it's final game between these two. Who stays alive for top 8 tomorrow, and can Mind RPG overcome the threat that is Seth?
One of the biggest things that I love about Xian is his consistency, right?
Yes.
Especially off of light normals. There's been so many instances where he gets the crouching jab into the stand medium punch target combo.
Yep.
That is so difficult to get consistently.
Yeah,
right?
to get
you
it every
have to
time.
see like the counter hit, and he's hit like so many of those. I've seen him stream it. He sat in the training room just looking at whether or not it's a counter hit and if he can get that full conversion. And he does it like 90% of the time. It's super impressive.
And that is the difference between being great and between being one of the best right there. Being able to consistently do that in these high pressure situations is so hard. And the pressure is on now because the stun meter is climbing. Low stun, so much pressure. And look at the gray health accumulating as well. So this next touch will be magnificent on the side of Mind RPG. It's still not out of this corner situation, but now stun will.
He's not meter.
Yeah, he doesn't. Oh, it still gets the hit.
Still
Yep.
got clipped.
I like that. I like that decision to use the V-Still there too.
Oh,
to get the steal.
no.
That's so big. Oh, instant overhead off of the kick. That is so much. Is it going to be enough damage to kill though?
100%.
Yes, it is. And didn't even have to spend the EX. Set point for Xian.
And one of the biggest things, again, with Xian, right, knowing being fully aware of what kind of resources Mind RPG has for like the V-Trigger 2 setup is pretty important. But he actually still caught Mind RPG with the frame trap. It wasn't even like the movement mix-up, it was still the frame trap mix-up.
Yeah, consistently getting the frame traps. And wow, got the immediate check on the EX there. I love that.
Oh.
Again, the 3 times. Third time is the charm there. And jumps in wonderfully. That's another way to punish the standing Fearsome. It is looking grim for Mind RPG right now because you cannot afford to take another string. You will be in a checkmate situation. But fighting back excellently, V-Trigger is activated. Now the pressure sequence is going to be massive.
Man, he
chased
chased him down. Oh, you're hella dead. Oh, you're going to take a ton of damage.
Not stunned just yet. Oh, and what a shimmy. Final game, final round between these two. Full stick of butter for Xian. And God, this could go either way. It's just explosive back and forth.
Yeah, that's pretty much the name of it, right? If Xian gets a hit, he's going to take Bison to the corner. If Bison takes a hit, that is going to be a ton of life taken out from Xian. So Mind RPG, again, could easily land that first hit with Bison. A lot of forward-moving normals.
Yeah, and I love this walk-down strategy from Mind RPG. It's so hard to just walk forward with a game plan like that. Put the side switch in now. The corner is set. This is what we talked about. And the party has started. Is he going to be able to get to open up? One more throw will mean stun, and there it is!
Oh, I thought it was going to be enough to survive.
Yeah, and critical art is available. This might actually just kill it. It does! Xian is going to move on to top 8 unless he survives with a pixel. Maybe the dream is alive.
I can't tell. I think he might be living, but I can't tell. I can't tell anymore. I can't tell anymore, but Xian definitely can. He went for it, and either way, like, even if it didn't kill, that's still a hefty mountain to climb.
Hefty.
Xian moving on into top 8 over Mind RPG. And I got to say, man, that could have been like the first one to swing is pretty much going to win. I would have loved to see if Mind RPG could get at least a hit in, but Xian getting it with a perfect.
Yeah, that is definitely, that's a way to close it out. And if you look at the rest of the match, that corner sequence did not go the way of Xian for most of the rounds. Every time he got in the corner, you know, Mind RPG was able to find a way to challenge out and, you know, wasn't taking the throw, had the throw text, wasn't getting opened up by the sand light kick. And at the end, it was when you finally decided to follow the rules and take the throw, it was the time where, you know, it was time to go. But Mind RPG put up one hell of a fight in this set.
Put on that,
yeah, it was so much.
I wonder if he could have gone as like EX head stomps to like get the Oki situation. But either way, man, ball is life also for Xian. He started to pick it up a little bit in terms of how he wanted to mix with Trigger 2. We saw that a little bit ago. We also saw Mind RPG kind of traverse that earlier with his own counterplay. But this is what I like to see also from both players. Yes, Xian with the relentless chase down. Mind RPG actually had a kind of chase down himself earlier too. I think it was like after this sequence. What happens afterwards?
Yeah, it was
he went for the shimmy after that.
Yeah, went for the shimmy and got the stun to kill. But, you know, at the very end, it wasn't a shimmy that decided it. It was the throw pressure, and the pressure is no longer on for Xian today. They're going to be fighting Bearpop tomorrow in the loser side of top 8. So fantastic showing from the side of Mind RPG. One round away from top 8 is nothing to be upset about. And I would say it's not an upset either. Xian has been in the business for so long.
True.
Teaching the young man the old man's lesson. And we've got we've got even more matches to come. I believe next we have Captain Y versus Cater and Red Pablo. This is going to be the first time that we're actually going to be seeing Red Pablo play today. Sadly, I Am Xian was not able to play for the rest of the bracket. So Captain Y is actually, no, we're actually going to be going back to the match between Bravery and Lacuna C. So again, this is a team kill right here, RSG versus RSG. But we'll be coming up on that one a little bit later. I know that we had a change up in the format that we were doing here because we had to switch which matches we were doing. But even with the switch up, we have had such a fantastic time so far. And I know that in the future, I'm going to be having a fantastic time playing. There's a little known game up there in the top right corner, Street Fighter Duel. Street Fighter Duel, you know, is currently available for download in China. It is going to be one of the best games for mobile. I'm a mobile game junkie. I know that Vicious is a mobile game junkie.
I cannot wait, brother.
Yeah, the Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel is going to be available with a global version soon. The Epic Legend is reborn on mobile, so make sure that if you are in China, download Street Fighter Duel now and fight each other with the fantastic character arrangement that we have here that we love from Street Fighter, and try to become the best fighter in the world.
Listen, if I'm not playing Jamie, I'm definitely going to be playing Yun with some Street Fighter Duel. That is for sure. And again, a lot of these characters you kind of see on your screen, well, guess what? I think majority of them are going to be having tracksuits available. Actually, they are currently available, but guess what?
Yes.
For anybody who takes it down with that character. All the way through for their tournaments for their respective CPTs, well, they get them unlocked for free. However, there is 45 characters to go through. It's all purchasable with fight money. And again, each of these tracksuit colors will be released for free after each CPT premiere event featuring the winning character. Again, all new tracksuit colors were released for free at the conclusion of the Capcom Pro Tour of this year. And that is going to be quite the celebration that we're looking forward to. That is the celebration we are leading up to here with the CPT. In fact, we're going to continue on with more of our top 16 after a quick break. We had a little bit of a hiccup, but we do appreciate your time and hanging out with us through and through. When we come back, we're going to decide who is going to fill in those last 2 spots for the top 8 immediately after this break. Stay tuned.
Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand after defeat. So fly, time to fly. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
Yeah, hate that I do this, never feel loose. And when I get up in the game, y'all improve. A real problem, but I solve them all facts proof. And if you think I'm gon' fold, then you talking fool. Yeah, y'all wanna win, let me spin, boy. All dunks aside, I'm super fly like I'm hanging off the rim, boy. I've been winning for my kinfolk, and I put on for my city from the intro. Let's go.
I put that time in. My pride is out the roof, I get that grind in. So I'ma tell the truth, I get my grind on. You know the pressure make all of these diamonds. I tell them get back, step back, fast track, big lap, big facts. I'm past that, yeah. I'm trying to get ahead, get out the way. Now move forward, stand back, now break away. I'm about to bring it on. I ain't never backing down. Come and step up to the plate. For my city, for my town. I do whatever it takes. I'ma go and get this round. Oh, I'ma go all of the round. See the sights, yeah. Hop out and I'm scheming, ride around and I'm dreaming. Once I get the feeling, nobody can stop me. Hit it, I'm on gold, fending all you foes. Once I'm on the road, I'm knocking out of the door. I got the range, if you wanna come and stand up to me, pull up on me now. If you wanna challenge, tell me, rookie, run up on me now. I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back. I'm on the road to the top and I'm not looking back. I ain't never backing down, come and step up to the plate. For my city, for my town, I do whatever it takes. I'ma go and get this round. Oh, I'ma go all of the round. I ain't never backing down. Come and step up to the plate. For my city, for my town, I do whatever it takes. I'ma go and get this round. Oh, to the top, see the sights, see the sights, see the sights, yeah.
I go too far. Please forgive me.
My name is Seth. Bow down before my cycle. It's time for trap. Show me everything. Davloh!
This will do.
Most of our top 8 has been decided at this point, and we have 2 more slots to be determined and who is going to punch their ticket to the top 8 tomorrow. Train straight to Singapore, straight to the C region to see who gets in that top 8 and eventually that CPT spot. Once again, if you're joining us right now, we have had one hell of a top 8 commanded by myself and Vicious right here. He's to the right of me, but on the screen he's to the left, and you know these matches that we have left are going to be immaculate.
That was pretty good, actually. I was looking forward to seeing how you're going to spin that. I really wanted to know, and you did it pretty well. I got to say, looking into the matchups themselves, right, going into the loser's side, I did say we're going to get right down into it. Well, let's take a look at how we even got there in the first place, right? We didn't get to see the matchup between Xian and Red Pablo. Again, it was an unfortunate circumstance. Xian was not able to make it to his game, unfortunately, but that's going to be Red Pablo taking that W, going up against Captain Y. However, down below, Bravery versus Lacuna C is a match we did not get to see just yet, but I'll tell you what, it is ready, primed and ready, and it is something that I've been looking forward to. Lacuna C with that Falke. I've been watching that character, watching this player also.
Yeah.
Since I got to really like dive into how he played over at the Intel World Open. Bravery, I can't recall too much, but Cami players I feel like haven't been showing up to the plate as often. I feel like I might be crazy, but I'm gonna put my I'm gonna put my stakes out on that one. I don't really get to see Cami flourishing as much within like the realm of top 8 specifically.
Yeah,
top 16 maybe.
Yeah, and we're going to get to see how Lacuna feels about this matchup against their fellow teammates. So Lacuna C says, hello. I couldn't have said it better. Lacuna C says, hello there, teammate. Nothing else to say. That is like an anime intro and a half right there. Hello.
I feel like it's the what is it, like the fire pit kind of entrance. He's just sitting in the sofa with his stick in hand. He's just like, he's ready to play. He's like, oh, didn't see you there. But he definitely did. Like, he was waiting for you the whole time.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You have to see that in the path, too. Like, the game plan is always stay in winners so you don't run into the to your teammates. But once you're in losers, all rules are thrown out the window.
So are friendships, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta take down the friendship matchup. I mean, I had that happen in my most recent tournament. I was rooming with my opponent who knocked me out in losers in a one-touch situation. We didn't talk for like an hour.
Imagine getting eliminated from EVO and having to ride back with that same person.
Couldn't be. Oh man, it's all right. I'd lose hair over that one.
They played it on like the EVO recaps on the stream. I was just like, man, I remember this.
I would lose hair over that one, but no hair to be lost here. Bravery versus Lacuna C. One teammate will continue on to get another chance to fight for the top 8. Remember, this is they have to win 2 matches from this point to get forward because we did go back to the past in these matches for the bracket wide. But oh my God, Hooligan!
How often do you get to see that ended?
Not often. I think it's the first time I've seen it in a year.
Ooh. That was a little bit too high for Lacuna's taste, really. Getting rid of that punish. Oh boy. This is going to be trigger 1, by the way. Oh, I thought he was going to get the extension, but it's a little bit too low to the ground.
Sick. Oh, again, tried to go in. Not exactly sure what they tried to challenge. Not able to get the pickup there off the EX Fireballs, but the anti-air comes in clutch from Lacuna. And like you said, we've been watching this character a lot, thriving in the scene. We already have a Falke qualified for the Capcom Cup in the form of 4 fills, so this character can definitely get the job done.
4 fills! I'm a big fan. I love his gameplay.
The 4 fills pays the bills with that money prize.
There's something about Falke, right? When you think you could jump in on her, she recovers just in time. Just like that!
Yeah, just in time. And the patience. And, the angle on that DP is so good as well. Yep, super sharp.
Oh, surprisingly not going to be covering the anti-air from that sequence, and that's going to be fine.
Oh my
Bravery
God. Wow.
gets caught. Yeah, I think Lacuna definitely knew that Bravery wanted out of the corner by any means necessary, had the right read, made the right adjustments.
Yeah, having the ultimate Bravery, but, Bravery can be a punishment as well. You are suffering from your own hubris, and now Bravery trying to fight back from this one. Has to be trigger activation, immediately comes out. Yep. Oh, man, here it begins.
Hey, that's not too bad. Yep. What happens afterwards? The forward throw. He does get the meaty. He is in the corner now. Oh, boy. Back throw, not enough.
But again, one touch, one interaction, and it's lights out, but the throw comes in one more time. Bravery getting around on the board. And that's so risky, too, because if you challenge with jab there as Lacuna, it's potentially a win because you have the critical art ready on deck and the feature activation.
Yeah, you had so much time, too, to kind of, like, freeze time, actually, with the trigger 1 to catch some of these anti-air, which is a pretty common tactic.
Yep. Yeah, the time stop definitely a factor. I love that continuous, dive kick to stop the jump arc. It makes Lacuna think twice about, opting for the anti-air because we've already seen it on deck. Not just once, but twice. Ooh, and again, a different way anti-air gets the extension with the fireball, but the whiff is punished by throw. V-trigger activation, it's time.
The important tech throw. That could have been a big side switch for the side of Bravery. Lacuna C is going to be backing up, right? The critical art is there, but if he gets a solid counter hit, I think that would go into death. Right now, he's just chilling. Okay, there it is. Solid counter hit into death. El Cabong.
Yeah, El Cabong hit him with the El Clasico. My God, you really, you went back to the past for that one.
I do it every single time. I do it, man. I just love the animation. It's funny to me. She just knocks you all the way into the air and just bonk. And I don't know, man. There was something about like seeing it for the first time, and Ultra David was just cracking up. Like, and I remember talking to him about it. He was like, "Man, that animation is just so silly to me."
Yeah, Falke is just horsing around on that one, really taking us back to the wild, wild west. Where things were different and guitars were definitely swinging.
Yeah, and again, that moment was exactly what we were talking about. Like one big counter hit into critical art would have spelled death, and it's something to be said about Cami as a character. That nerf is pretty important to keep in mind. That low medium kick being very much so punishable now. It lingers a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Some of the characters that kind of got that treatment, it's like, well, now these players have to not whiff this button.
Yeah. I mean, we look at characters that got that same treatment, and Karin, Career Kansuki, they took away her money button as well. Has that
both
recovery.
of her money buttons.
Yeah, so it's a little bit more difficult, but still very strong character. And Falke, able to deal with Cami, I think, incredibly well.
I agree. I mean, we've kind of seen her cover some of the approaches that she has, right, on the ground as well as in the air, primarily in the air. One of the things we talk about when it comes to Cami, she's able to bypass a lot of the cast, a lot of the roster's neutral.
Yeah.
With that opening in the air.
Yep. And Falke definitely one of the characters that can punish in the air and not only get a punish, but massive amounts of damage from it and pressure, because Bravery can't approach in the air right now. The ground game is not going to your benefit, and Lacuna is just starting to run away, seeing the Cami for what she really is.
Oh, that was same side.
Yeah, that was good. Oh my God. Dude, look at how sharp the angle is. No, not sharp enough on the sticks right there. The cannon spike, that was desperation station.
Living up to the name Bravery, looking real brave with that EX uppercut, trying to steal it back from Lacuna C. But, he was ready for it. He was 100% ready for it.
Keep it ready, steady. It's time to go as we continue to apply this pressure. And right now, Lacuna just out again every single time. The way, Cami, you cannot circumvent this air game. I'm ready to check every single time. And the challenge on the featured activation. You're a demon, Lacuna.
Oh, you're actually going to be taking hella damage.
Yeah, one more touch. Not able to anti-air that one. Came in at a little tight angle. But, oh, wow. What a shimmy.
So
this
smart.
is huge. Yep,
so
one
smart.
more touch.
He could do a back throw.
Oh,
for stun. You're dead. You're actually dead.
Yep, that was so good. Cannon spike to finish it off and getting around on the board. Bravery was down, but not out.
And it's going to be kind of tough. What's going to be the option to get in? Bravery is going to be pretty much kept out a good amount by that Fierce. The forward Fierce, excuse me.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Yeah, again, the shimmy comes out from the side of Bravery.
A big highlighted weakness, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like Bravery, once we get to this corner position, is just dominating. And again, the challenge from Lacuna active defense. So smart feature is available, so one touch will lead into a huge sequence for the side of Falke.
It's so tough now for Lacuna. I actually haven't seen him play from a deficit that often in this entire matchup.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's mostly like when the deficit was established, they just died in the corner. But now, gotta find a way out of that deficit, and that's a huge counter hit. Goes for the chase down, not able to get the V-shift punish. Oh, that was so good on the reaction. You have to be mad quick, mad swift to get that. Here it goes, Party City.
Oh, you thought you could press a button after that target combo? No, sir. There is indeed a couple of shots coming in. The EX uppercut coming in from Lacuna C. That's huge. Get down! Trying to get the shots.
Any touch? Oh my God! What are you made up? But again, the gray health is a one-touch situation. Both sides, but no, the drop comes out. And the block on the cross-up blow. You really challenged there, Lacuna.
I can't actually believe he went for it in the corner the way he did. Lacuna C sneaks his way into into the losers round 2. That was actually super sneaky the way that he did that. I still can't I can't believe he actually got away with that EX uppercut in the corner against Bravery. Again, Bravery putting himself in that situation was pretty tough. The amount of gray life that was taken out, that's one factor.
That was so
Putting
much.
himself in the corner was another factor. But the counter hit conversion whiffing afterwards was so tough. And it was really unfortunate because he got the counter hit crouch jab.
Yeah.
Which leads into crouching medium punch, but you don't get a follow-up normal after that because you can't, it's too far to get any sort of follow-up.
God, and it was just a pixel in the dream at the very end there. And the fact that Lacuna not only blocked the jump and used the crosscut DP to deal with that. Look at that's such a hard sequence. The cross up into the double low, and the fact that you challenge right after that, after two sick blocks into that, like, you know, Lacuna, sorry that you had to take down Bravery, but that was so clean. The defense was confident, and the willingness to challenge in that situation where it could have gone down to the wire in a 1-1 situation. Congrats to Lacuna for now having to fight against Vakarian, but we're going to be seeing that one later because, oh, Captain, my Captain, can Captain Y overcome the Captain of the skies, you know, the Red Cyclone himself, Zangief.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah, we haven't actually had a chance to see Red Pablo play. He indeed uses Zangief, and this is going to be a matchup that's going to be... So it's kind of interesting because if he had played against Chuan, he would have had to fight off against Guile, right? But now he has to face off against Akira, who needs to get in, by the way. I will say to Akira's strength, she has some very good normals that reach pretty far out. But, I mean, like, I think Zangief might be able to counterpoke a little bit better.
Just
the
chops. Yeah, that's
primarily the chops. Call me crazy, but I think, you know, Akira might be in for a ride.
I mean, Zangief definitely can take Akira for a ride. Normally...
There's no way he's 41 off of this photo, by the way.
Yeah.
What?
He's got that young man skin, but I mean, he's been churning butter for years.
There's something different out in the Philippines, man.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe the air, maybe something in the water, but
they all look so young.
Exactly.
Man.
I mean, hey, that's what you love.
I'm the only old Filipino here. Is that what you're telling me?
You look.
No, I'm playing.
Jeremy, you look like
Red Pablo though. The Zangief, right? The Zangief matchup versus Akira specifically. Like, what is gonna be the main objective here for if you're a Captain Y?
If I'm Captain Y, I need to be at that range where I'm happy to like go for the counter poke, trying to get the whip punish, and you know, walk Zangief down to the corner.
Yeah, I agree.
Walk him down, get him in that corner situation where he has to, you know, utilize that V meter to try to escape.
Man.
And you have to be confident about your meaties and your pressure. So Captain Y definitely needs to keep him locked down, and already Pablo utilizing the poke game, feeling comfortable.
Yeah, we talked about some of the counter poke games that Zangief possesses. I think there's a lot that he can do against Akira. We're seeing it right now. Red Pablo has been extremely active with normals. Another RBG. Can he do it again? He tried.
Oh my god.
He tried. Oh my god. Oh yes. So that's one of the things I was looking forward to. Boom! Right there. If you try to commit to a longer normal, a longer reaching normal, there's a lot of recovery on it with Akira. If he parries or if he absorbs any of that with V-Skill 1, you're dead.
Yeah,
you're going to get grabbed.
That's exactly what we saw here. This matchup was actually pretty good for Zangief, and it's so hard checking the forward movement. And now Captain is so afraid of pressing those buttons because an SPD is in your future. And the fact that Red Pablo went for triple RBG?
The first two worked.
Oh no!
And it begins.
Do it again. All right, yeah, nice challenge immediately with the low forward, and you're not allowed to run in on Red Pablo here. Big counter hit. This is where it begins. The crush. No! Yeah, trying to go for the mix-up.
Yeah, that was actually pretty sick.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that often.
I was like, where did Akira go?
Pablo gets corrected, I think.
Yeah. Got the V-shift out. Oh my god.
You actually
Get out of
did
here.
it.
Get out of here.
You madman.
I Red Pablo. I wish I would have got to see you play earlier. With SPD, went for it again, reach for the heavens. Has V-trigger here though, so any sequence leads into a high pressure situation, but the mix-up comes in strong. Not able to get the kill, but it doesn't matter. Big standing here. Big standing roundhouse.
That was actually pretty interesting. Captain Y could have gone for an extender off of that crouching state of Zangief. Crouch jab and uppercut would have done it. Oh, that's -2. Cool. Watch out now.
Yeah, you gotta be careful when pressing that button again. Flex on him. Good anti-air.
Oh. Keeping it safe after the standing heavy punch, but Captain Y is still looking for the counter pokes against Red Pablo. In fact, Red Pablo is the one doing all the counter poking right now. Good amount of damage taken away from Captain. Little by little, it's a battle of attrition.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
And the battle of attrition is definitely going to Pablo's favor. Again, another great anti-air, but the damage has already been done in this counterpoke game. Good attempt at the EX SPD, but now it is a pressure session. So much meter. Daigo is available as well. And now V-Trigger is going to take a little bit longer. Yep, here it comes. Oh, that was so good.
Just use the V skill 2 launcher. You could land into critical art.
Yeah,
you have the
might
right
actually
sequence.
just dead.
There it is.
No! Doesn't matter, the throw
Okay.
comes out. Not enough. It is enough to kill.
I was going to say, like, hello? What had happened? I think he tried to do it, but uppercut came out. Just a little bit of an overlapping input. It is what it is. But Captain Y, he had the right idea. He had the right sequence, right? He got the pop-up float. And luckily for him, Red Pablo did not wake up with anything crazy. Like, I mean...
Like a EX like a critical art again.
Maybe.
You maybe just throw it out there.
What's actually kind of funny is that back throw would have solved all the problems that was presented to Captain Y outside of critical art. Because Zangief gets thrown out of like his SPD. Like, what? Excuse me?
Doesn't make sense.
Make it make sense,
Make
please.
it make sense. Why doesn't it work? Because it doesn't. Why?
Somewhere I could feel small boy Big Churn crying in his sleep as soon as I said that.
Small boy Big Churn. Absolutely love it. Big jumping right there.
Brutus is one of my favorite human beings.
Brutus
man.
is so
He's
funny. I have top 3 Twitter posts.
Yeah, he is so funny. Going into it, Captain Y again, locking down Red Pablo, a big anti-air right with the uppercut, not letting Zangief out of the corner. Red Pablo has a lot to counter with right now with the crouching jabs, but it has not gotten him out of this situation specifically.
Yeah, this is so much damage too with a full extension. Are you able to kill here? It is so much
scaling involved.
Yeah.
You can't get a miss.
Oh my
God.
god.
That's a lot of damage.
Pixel in a Dream, nice throw tech. All the resource in the world. Red Pablo making love to down back, but getting mixed for it. The overhead connects. And it doesn't matter if you have full V-Trigger, full critical art. Akira has other ideas.
Yeah, and even if she commits to the kicks after the overhead, you're still like, you still have to make sure you block that correctly.
I love these combos. Oh, try to jump back, maybe baiting on the critical art this time, giving the respect required because Pablo already showed it once. And yeah, you know, willing to go for the parry again. Absolutely love that. And the challenge on Vega. Wow.
Meaty fireball. What happens afterwards? Running bear grab. Here he comes. The Red Pablo. What's the call here? Standing medium punch. He's checking the space against Captain Y. Is he going to be moving forward with that, though, with that information given? Here's the activation off of Daigo. V-reversal. You cannot V-reversal the older brother. V-skill 2. Carry him to the corner.
Oh, if you get this right setup, maybe end in critical art? No. Yes!
Yes, absolutely you can.
And that is going to be the game as long as it is enough damage. It's going to be a
1,000%.
Oh, yeah. Captain Y going to move on as the captain. Oh, Captain, my captain. Red Pablo, we only got to see you play once. Had, you know, explosive moments with the wake-up critical art and a lot of the SPDs utilizing the parry. But you need to have those more consistently, and consistency was key for Captain, really utilizing Daigo in such an excellent fashion, even though Red Pablo was able to escape in certain situations. Got scooped up by Big Brother a few too many times.
Yeah, that's just like a character-specific thing, right?
Yeah.
Trying to V-reversal that activation, there's only like a certain timing you can do it, where you would avoid that first strike from Daigo. The first strike is the most important one, I feel like, because that is the stun. But there's also like a certain position where, like, if Zangief does it correctly, you like push forward past the hitbox of Daigo. So it's very, very specific. So
it's a little finicky.
Yeah, Captain Y is gonna be moving on. Does get in a very solid way too. I will say he forced Red Pablo into this corner majority of the time and really applied that pressure correctly. I gotta say, Vakarian versus Lacuna C is gonna be the matchup we're looking forward to now, as the final member is gonna be inducted into the top 8. It's gonna be very interesting to see because it's gonna be that Falke play again.
Oh yeah.
Versus Vakarian, right? Using that Zeku. We only seen a little bit of that Zeku highlighted because it was a swift 0-2 against Davloh, a person that he's very much so familiar with. But we'll see how this plays out, right?
Because they play Guile.
Because they play Guile, right? Vakarian pretty much starting the things off, and it's so tough to kind of get yourself in the mental state to play after waiting for so long.
Oh,
You just have to kind of just chill or go into training mode, right? I want to see how he utilizes time with the Zeku play.
Yeah, I think it's really important too, because after a crippling loss like that, you got to kind of go back to the drawing board, because Zeku wants to get in, and it was the young Zeku game plan that every overextension just got completely punished by Guile. It wasn't close.
I think it was one of those things where he just got red, right?
Yeah.
There was one of those moments where he didn't need to go into trigger. He wanted to get like the comeback factor going, but it was 100% baited by Davloh. I want to see what happens when he has to face off against someone who's even, or has to be even more patient and play a little bit more defensive via Falke. And it's not even just like in terms of defensive options with movement. Like, I think Falke does a great job of occupying a lot of space on the screen, all the while charging up a fireball. That's one of the biggest factors of Falke is seeing her glowing hand and whether or not she's going to shoot, right? So we'll see how it plays out. I want to know exactly what Vakarian is going to be thinking about when it comes to being spaced out again, just with a different character.
Yeah, and I mean, we might get to see Vakarian like really get the offense going as well, because even though we didn't get to see the pressure mount in the right way for them in the first set, what happens if you have the read? What happens if you get that like perfect Zeku round where everything just lines up perfectly? You get the defensive read on Falke trying to bust out. Then I feel like it's a different Vakarian. We didn't get to see that before because Lyle just shut down everything, and Davloh has all the experience in the world, the most seasoned player out of this entire bracket. So, you know, maybe a little less seasoning. You know, oh, salt and pepper, that's good for me. Let's see if that's let's see if that gets the job done.
And we've talked about this before. Vakarian actually is opting to go for old Zeku majority of the time, utilizing some of the grams to catch Lacuna C, maybe like pressing the button midway through. So that's not going to be the case for Lacuna. Yeah, he immediately backed off and started firing shots. That V-Skill 2 is going to give more so the estate than the threat. Man, and the extension, that was so cool.
Set the orb. Ready to confirm into myself. What a walk under on the jump in too. And now Lacuna just walking away. Vakarian is the one who has to press the initiative. And the empty jump cross up low. You gotta be kidding me.
Not a single button was pressed, not a cross-cut, anything. But to be fair, you can't really cross-cut as young Zeku. One of the biggest highlighted weaknesses of that character is that he's susceptible to sharp-angled jumps.
Yep.
Jumps in general. You have to really pick and choose the right tools to get an anti-air as young Zeku.
Yeah, and then you have the opposite side of Lacuna, who has the sharpest angle on the DP. So, you know, two sides of the same coin. And it's really difficult. And again, that trade definitely goes on the side of Lacuna there. But now, full pressure has the resources to continue going forward. But Lacuna fighting excellently out of the corner. V-reversal aggressively trying to shut you down. And now, pressure is mounting. Absolutely love this. Critical art is available. So, one more confirm and you will be done so. But activation station, the same can be said for the sign of Lacuna with this feature and now the critical art. But big jump in. You should be dead here. Do you opt to spend it? Yes, you do.
You better, because if not, Lacuna C might be able to get like a sequence and a half of a counter hit. Vakarian wisely spending that cash, getting rid of the suit. He only has the lower half now. He had to return the jacket.
Return the jacket. All right, we need to get it permed and pressed.
Yeah, no, he actually rented it.
He actually rented it? No.
It's back. Look, it's back. He
comes back all tattered. Be like, oh, I'm sorry. I can't pay for this. This was just a part of the process. And they're like, no, you have to pay.
I wonder what part of the Ninja Guide actually taught you how to fix and repair your clothes after transformation.
Yeah, that is my ninja way. To bring it back the same outfit in the same form. Like, how do you pull that up? Like, what bag of tricks do you have to just get the costume change?
Oh.
Nice air to air, and again, we're going straight to the corner, but jumping out excellently, and again, the empty jump cross-up low has been the key to success here. Any hit confirm will lead to critical art, and Lacuna is going to be looking for that, already going for the low forwards. You see them fishing.
Now it's going to be one more sequence for Lacuna C. If he can get the opening against Vakarian, it's going to be pretty pivotal. Look at just chipping away at that damn. Oh my God, we talked about the active normals that she has.
Yep. And in that situation too, like Vakarian was kind of dissuaded from utilizing like a slide activate because of the critical art that was there. Like you can't even use your big comeback option because you make one mistake, you block anything and you're dead. So obviously had that on their mind and, you know, tried to walk forward, and Falke just has that active. You can't deal with the pull, all right? Like, you can't touch me with a 10-foot pull.
Word! You're going to just walk up and get that grab?
That's kind of nuts. Vakarian with the confidence, and I mean, maybe that's what they were going for before and got stopped by the stop sign right there.
Look at the pressure coming in from the medium kick. Actually, the medium buttons in general. Lacuna C catching a lot of these movements, the forward movements from Vakarian with the medium buttons. Big punish. Look at this. The damage, pretty hefty. The positioning, though,
Yeah.
Way more important.
Oh my god, challenging midway there, but not able to get the confirm. That's rough. Not a huge punish on the side of Vakarian. Blocking all of this so good, and now one-touch situation. And the confirm on the counter hit. Excellent. Lacuna C is trying to see themselves in the top 8. 1 round away. Can Vakarian stay alive?
Oh, how did that actually avoid it? That's cool.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I haven't really seen that interaction before. Perhaps the medium pitch punches to say.
Learn something new every day.
He's going to be the biggest deterrent right now for Vakarian, but at the same time, does have in the corner. Man, Lacuna C is just neutral jumping back and forth. Still caught Vakarian off guard.
Oh, and now being caught off guard. The stun is 1 touch away. How do you avoid this? And again, I love that continuing to jump forward, continuing to apply the pressure, and the jump fireball was trying to go for the anti-air, but I don't care. Lacuna C just says, see you later, Vakarian.
Know what the hardest thing about that was the moment Vakarian decided to try to anti-air, it was at the wrong angle, too. Like, the first couple of jumps was the right angle for standing medium kick.
Yep.
He tried it the third time where he got hit in the face with the fireball instead. But, like, let's say Lacuna didn't let it rip. He would have landed at the right angle to punish that anti-air attempt. It was so unfortunate. But Lacuna C, man, I mean, that was pretty convincing final round, actually final game, going up 2-0 against Vakarian. He's going to be seating pretty nice and confident into that top 8, right, where they're going to play off tomorrow against Captain Y, and we see Bearpop versus Xian up above. This is going to be pretty wild through and through with the loser side, and I don't mean it in the sense just like because this is like their last tournament life to live.
Yeah.
I just mean the matchups in general, right? Just based off of this, Bearpop versus Xian, Cody versus Seth, that's going to be pretty interesting. Then it's going to be
explosive.
Yeah, without a doubt. And then, of course, we got Captain Y. It's going to be the Akira versus the Falke. I really love the diversity throughout the entirety of, like, at least the lower half is pretty diverse right now.
Yeah, and the Akira versus Falke isn't a matchup that I'd say we get to see as often.
Never.
You never see that.
Never.
And that I want to see how that shakes up because, like, Akira wants to get in and Falke wants to keep you out. So how do you thread the needle and work your way around those active defensive normals that Falke has to really get in and utilize Big Brother? Or maybe even going to V-Trigger 2 in this matchup. So let's see if there is a change-up there on the strategy, because got to keep your strategy strong, especially at this stage in the game.
I mean, they have a pretty big buffer window to do so, right? We've seen the character diversity. We've seen the kind of matchups involved with a lot of these players. There's going to be plenty of time for them to dissect it. And speaking of, again, we've talked about plenty of time to see Street Fighter Duel and a lot of characters in that as well. We've seen the trailer over and over again, and guess what? We get to see it one more time. The Capcom authorized mobile game Street Fighter Duel is now available for download in China, with a global version coming soon. The epic legend is reborn on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now, and let's fight for each other and join the journey with millions of players to become the best fighter. Best believe myself and Jake Ryan will be downloading this as soon as it hits
Frame 1.
global. Yeah, we are without a doubt going to be going in. You should do the same.
And we got to buffer that Frame 1 download because we have a little bit of a buffer as well between the next registration for the CPT event, obviously Central America East. We will be on a break next week, but registration is going to be closing on the 25th for the Central America East Capcom Tour stop that we are going to be seeing. So make sure that you go to CapcomProTour.com for more information on how you can compete and, represent your region to get to the top, because you might not know it, but maybe you are CPT qualifier material. And if you want to be a material girl in the material world, you've got to put your best foot forward. And as you can see here, right after Central America East, you got to put your best foot forward, one foot in front of the other, because that big logo right there, the EVO Championship Series, is the last EVO for Street Fighter V, and registration has already closed for EVO, so if you missed out, then I'm sorry about your luck. You should have signed up, because that is going to be the fiercest competition other than the Capcom Pro Tour finals that we have, TBD, obviously. And I'm excited to see, can the EVO champ, are they even going to be qualified for the CPT finals?
Who knows? But I'll tell you what, we do have the registration period. Just in case you couldn't sign up for EVO, there's still a chance for those in Australia to make it through to the CPT, right? With their current registration, their event's going to be happening around August 13th. You do not want to miss that. We're going all over the world when it comes to getting these CPT qualifiers, and you can do so as well with the World Warrior Initiative. That program has finally been launched. being able to earn a spot at Capcom Cup with all of the communities intact and involved, right? Again, visiting CapcomProTour.com is where you can get all of the details to sign up and get that spot. We see how many organizers are actually involved in this program. In fact, there is one going on with the UAE region. I know Big Bird had been tweeting about it earlier. I will get that link up for you on my social media, but for the most part, take a look at all the people involved for the World Warrior Project, right? A lot of these communities are coming together to give one big final send-off for the Capcom Pro Tour by providing a spot at Capcom Cup for those respective regions. You can see the list all the way through and through. Again, if you want the full details, it is CapcomProTour.com.
Yeah, full details, and it's all about the community here at for Street Fighter. We've had such a good lifespan for Street Fighter V, and we got to see an excellent display of skill from the C community today. 16 players is what we started with, and 8 remain, and I couldn't have had it shaken up a different way because those were all such fantastic matches. And we have more to talk about pretty soon, but you need to hang tight because we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown of what we can expect for tomorrow, what we got to see today, and what we have to look forward to the future for Street Fighter V. So stay tuned. We will be right back, and you're not going to want to miss the end of the show today.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned to defeat. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are Street Fighters.
You won't know what hit you.
Let me have some fun.
Let's get this mission started. This will be a good fight. Got you in my sights. Neutralized. Come on. Predictable. Time to end this. Fire. Double. Somersault. I'm just on another level.
Oh yeah, you know I'm ready. Trying to read each other here? At this range, many attacks can connect if you stick something out. The neutral game is very important. Hit them with a stopping bomb. More fuel for the fire. Cook them up. Breaking on them to lay down some damage without giving up ground. Drops them. Perfect parry. They got a feast on this chance. What now? Can it be this time to bust this out? Perfect damage calculation. No doubt about it. They are done.
いってみましょう。地上技で差し合う距離、リーチの差を生かすか、それを手玉に取るか。よく見ていた。さあ飛びはしっかりジャストで受け止めていく。体力はわずか、ゲージ差はある。ここはどう出る。インパクトは受け止めた。主導権の奪い合い、どちらが仕掛けるか。受け止めている。
Nothing stops
off this train. Ooh, the ground impact hit for a punish. Player 1 can't win this without pulling the trigger. Noticeable life lead.
受け止めながらここはダッシュを染み渡し出血大サービスだダメージ計算ゲージ管理バッチリ
The players are one step closer to getting to that #1 spot in the CPT for the Southeast Asia region. We just finished getting through the top 16. My name is Vicious here with Jake Ryan. If you guys happen to miss it, we highly encourage you guys to check out the VOD of what transpired earlier because of the fact that it was actually pretty damn diverse. There's a lot of characters in the entire roster of Street Fighter V that were possibly played, I feel like, in this month's CPT. I could be wrong on that one, but I'll tell you what, it was definitely very, very diverse. A lot of the times that we kind of break down this portion of the show, it's to kind of highlight some of our favorite moments as well as what's to come with our top 8. With that in mind, let's take a look at the bracket and where we came into with our top 16. Right off the bat, looking at the winner's side, Jake Ryan, I'm going to let you open up the floor on this one. Which one stood out to you the most?
So for me, it had to be Davloh versus Vakarian. It just felt like textbooks breakdown of your opponent, just read like a book, took him to the library, and Vakarian definitely in the player quote was like, so much respect for the community, absolute, supportive character for everything, but they play Guile. And God, did we feel how Vakarian felt about the Guile matchup, because it was definitely a wash, and that's okay because Davloh has all the seasoning in the world, and that match was just like chef's kiss, textbook how you want to play with Guile, and just excellent display of what that character can really do.
For me, when it comes to these 8 players, there weren't too many surprises from my expectations between Brandon and Minor RBG as well as Roxas versus SKZ. I will say the biggest turnaround that I did not expect was the matchup between Captain Y and Bells, especially after seeing the way Captain Y played to make it into the top 8, right? Looking at that Akira versus Laura matchup, I thought there wasn't like a chance for Bells to actually make it through, but he actually made that comeback pretty convincingly. And it wasn't even off of any sort of like crazy mix-ups. He just outplayed Captain Y in terms of the fundamentals, right? He was getting that game plan acclimated to what Captain Y wanted to do in neutral primarily, right? Even though his thunderclaps didn't work the first couple of times, he's like, all right, well, I got to change it up significantly to get some of this damage. And man, did he get that damage. So I will say not too many big surprises, but the main takeaway for me was the comeback factor from Bells against Captain Y.
Yeah, and that comeback factor was amazing because Captain Y definitely got the momentum in the beginning, and Bells was not dissuaded at all. Like you said, it wasn't anything fancy. It was just good old-fashioned Laura mix-up. And we had some good old-fashioned brawls in the loser bracket.
We sure did,
as well. And I would say my favorite match from the losers bracket had to be, it was Bearpop versus Roxas.
Man, I shouldn't have let you go first.
Shouldn't have let me go first. But yeah, Bearpop versus Roxas, we had an unfortunate disconnect, and Roxas was able to close out that first game. And then Bearpop really kicked it up a notch. We talked about in that first game on the sequence where we had the screen freeze, where it was a deliberate situation that Bearpop set up on the counter hit standing medium kick, and it just was a player, not only a player knowledge check, but a character matchup like knowledge check, and Bearpop was unrelenting after that. It just felt like, even if that first match didn't have the disconnect, I think it might have been a 2-0. Like, that's how I felt after watching the next 2 games.
I think for me, when it comes down to it, is one of the Xian matchups. I had to kind of do a coin toss between Vita and Mind RPG. I would have actually put Vita as the spot for me for favorite matchup up until he changed over to Vega. I think his Ibuki was doing phenomenal against Xian. He actually put him on the ropes a good amount of times and actually caught Xian slipping in more ways than one. And it was one of those moments where he actually took a lot of risky decisions, and it actually paid off, kind of making the reads against Xian. I loved seeing that from some of the players, some of the younger players against some of the veterans, right? But I will say the back and forth between Mind RPG and Xian is what solidified it for me. I think there was a lot of things that were big counters against Xian. One of the biggest takeaways that I like to see is how players can counter the V-Trigger 2 from Seth, right?
Yep.
Initially, Mind RPG had actually gotten the movement mix-up eliminated using that EX head stomp. And then immediately afterwards, Xian's like, all right, well, I have to go into a different kind of mix on the ground with frame traps. And I love that back and forth between the two. It was actually super close between Mind RPG and Xian. It could have been a coin flip towards the end, right? That perfect from Xian is what separates the boys from the men, though, right?
Yeah.
That dominant round at the very, very end is the way he needs to play throughout the entirety of the tournament if he wants to see success. But we'll see how that plays out. Mind RPG also played out of his mind, by the way. No pun intended. I think he did an excellent job in contesting against Xian up until just the very last moment. He just ran out of steam a little bit too early.
Yeah, and it was early when we started this bracket today, but we have gone through into the bright early morning in beautiful Southern California, and we got to see in this bracket who went from boys to men, now in the top 8 for our finalized top 8 player on the loser side, as you can see here. Bearpop versus Xian, so that... Oh, God, that is going to be, Cody versus the Seth matchup. Man. Explosive back and forth, and I don't know. Both of them were playing immaculate today.
Let's go to the end of the road a little bit. Let's kind of switch it up. Let's actually see the top 8 bracket and how it's going to flush out, right? Let's see who we have. Davloh versus Bells, right? Brandon versus SKZ. Just off of these 4, who do you like making it to the finals? Let's see, at least which matchup are you looking forward to the most, I should say, rather than who do you think is going to make it to the finals?
I am looking forward to Brandon versus SKZ. Brandon versus SKZ because that is going to be the Luke versus Seth, and we see players rotating from Luke to Seth across the world. It's like, all right, am I going to pick this character, and it's you make 2 incorrect decisions on either side, and you die. That I love that kind of matchup because it the risk reward definitely has to be dialed in to 11 in order to succeed in these matchups, because you make one mistake and you pay for it.
Oh, no, without a doubt. I think from both ends, actually. I think that's one of the matchups I was looking forward to as well, just based off of the matchup alone and the names behind it, even more of a treat. Looking down below for the loser side, Lacuna C versus Captain Y, as well as Xian versus Bearpop. I'm pretty sure we're on the same boat for this one as well. Xian versus Bearpop is something we were looking forward to. You teased it a little bit with that, Cody. I loved seeing the way the counterplay game, the counter-poking game that Bearpop presented.
Yes.
I want to see how that plays out against someone like Xian.
Yeah, because Xian is one of the best at playing that neutral game and dealing with counter pokes. So it's going to, but again, on the Seth, if Bearpop is successfully playing that counter poke game, Seth is losing on those trades considerably almost every single time. So I think that one is going to go down to whoever gets that first knockdown and can establish momentum. That will be the decider for that match.
Definitely looking forward to it, man. I don't know how I'm going to even be able to sleep here on the West Coast after experiencing that top 16. And now that we know who the top 8 is, again, in case you happen to miss it, we highly encourage you guys to check out the VODs, please. And of course, all this wouldn't be possible without you guys as well, over in the production as well. Those in the chat, production, you guys are going hand in hand right now and really putting this on for everybody over at Capcom and Street Fighter V. Again, we are going out with a bang with the final season of Street Fighter V, but I'll tell you what, we're going to go down swinging throughout the entirety of the year. There's so many events to look forward to, and there's just so much more to think about in the world of Street Fighter V.
Yeah, Street Fighter V has been such an excellent journey across the entire lifespan of the game, and we've seen so many changes, so many meteoric rises from the players that we have, and these players tomorrow are going to have an opportunity to rise to the occasion to not only get into the money, but get a chance to be a part of the Capcom Pro Tour, the last Capcom Pro Tour for Street Fighter V.
Man. That's a pretty big deal. It's
pretty
It's
big
going to be
deal.
even bigger deal tomorrow with the top 8. We all look forward to seeing you there as well. It's going to be the same exact time tomorrow. Hopefully you guys can get some rest. Be good to each other. Be good to others as well. We'll see y'all for the next one. My name is Justus, here with Jake Ryan. We hope you guys enjoy the top 16. We'll see you all tomorrow for the top 8. Peace.
Look at the dragon! What the? Bravery gets caught. Yeah, I think Lacuna definitely is. I think there's a lot that he can't do against. Oh, we're seeing it right now. Red Pablo is going to another.